This is the sold-out Liberty Bowl in Memphis, where tonight, 9th-ranked Tennessee and Peyton Manning take on Ole Miss in a game the entire state of Mississippi has long awaited. The father's a legend at his school, in his state, and the entire South. The son agonized over following in his footsteps, then passed for Tennessee. Ole Miss fans may have forgiven, but they have not forgotten. Tonight they get Archie's son Peyton for the very first time.
Oh, it broke my heart. Broke my heart.
I felt like he was our savior. I thought he was part of the family. And when a family member leaves you, it bothers you.
There were a few that thought that the world had come to an end.
He's a good quarterback. He's not as good as his father, but he's a good quarterback.
Peyton who?
With nothing to forgive, he made the best choice for himself. Now he gets to play the Rebels on Thursday night on ESPN.
Yes, Peyton Manning is here tonight, and so are the Ole Miss Rebels. We'll have the kickoff from Memphis, Tennessee, right after this. History, Ole Miss is playing in Memphis. It's the Rebels' home game, but played on Volunteer soil, where orange will rival the numbers of red and blue. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick along with Mike Gottfried. It is great to have you with us tonight from Memphis. Tennessee pointed to the Florida game as the make-or-break weekend of its season. And now, Mike, after they lost the game and probably any chance for an SEC or a national title, can they rebound?
Mike, their goals were set, and a lot of teams would go in the tank, but I don't think Tennessee will. And the reason they won't go in the tank, Peyton Manning, their great quarterback. He's the best quarterback in college football. And when Florida was up 35-0, offensive coordinator David Cutcliffe got Peyton on the phone and said, we're going to find out who the players are now. And this is the result. 34 completions, 55 attempts, 464 yards, 4 touchdowns. Peyton Manning is a great quarterback, and I expect Tennessee to rebound tonight.
All right, as always, Jerry Punch will be working the sideline for us in what should be a very emotional game. Doctor?
Hello, everybody. The fact that Ole Miss second-year head coach Tommy Tuberville is 9-6 overall and 3-1 this year is no small feat when you consider he's got a program that's been ravaged by NCAA-imposed sanctions. Despite the fact that he has just 57 scholarship players on the whole football team, he refuses to use that as an excuse. In fact, here's what he had to say to his young team in the locker room a moment ago.
20 months ago, they just about gave us the death penalty. 20 months ago this month. What you guys have accomplished since then is unbelievable. They've given you that honor by playing on national TV. Nobody even thought we'd be on TV again for 4 or 5 years. But you've earned that honor to be here tonight, be on national TV, and it is an honor. Now, we're going to go out there tonight, and we're going to have fun. We're going to play our butts off. There's going to be some good things happening and some bad things happening.
Tuberville's 2 biggest wins as a head coach came last year, a year ago, following open dates against Georgia and Mississippi. How big would this win be tonight? Well, he'd had 12 days to prepare. He said there could be no bigger win than this one tonight against Tennessee. Mike?
All right, thank you, Jerry. Tuberville has already renewed tremendous interest in Mississippi. Tonight would be huge for them. Philip Fulmer, what a sparkling record, 35-8, his 5th season at Tennessee. But 2 years in a row, Florida has knocked down the Volunteers' dream of a national title. Steve Lindsey will tee it up as Tennessee has won the toss, elected to receive. He's got the great leg. 11 of 21 kickoffs have gone for touchbacks. And Mark Levine, the single deep man, waiting at the goal line. These teams have not played since 1991. And all the emotion of the Peyton Manning saga circulates around this ball game.
Mike, and I think the open date really helped Tennessee because it gave them a chance to get over the Florida loss and not to play right away that week. So we'll see tonight, but I think it'll really help them.
That game was 35-0 before you could get through 8 bars of Rocky Top. Lindsey hangs it high and long. Levine, 1.5 yards deep in the end zone, will bring it out. Across the 20 to the 22. Here's the Everest three-start battery starting lineups for Tennessee on offense. Jay Graham set a single-season rushing mark last year, but is off to a slow start, averaging less than 3 a carry. Joey Kent, the most prolific receiver in Tennessee history, has over 100 yards in each of the first 3 games. The inexperience of the line is a problem. Robert Poole began the season with 8 career starts. That's more than everyone else combined. Peyton Manning leads them out to start from the Tennessee 22. Fake to Graham. Manning throws. Complete. It's a first down out to the 34-yard line. Joey Kent made the grab. On defense for Mississippi, David Evans has the most size and experience, leads the down linemen in tackles. The team lead in tackles belongs to Nate Wayne, who moved from the outside to middle linebacker this year. In the secondary, Derek Jones leads a very young group. He is a preseason All-SEC choice. Out of the eye this time. And Graham with his first carry. Not much as Tennessee swarmed by the Mississippi defense after a 2-yard gain. Mike, they crossed them up on that first play. Mississippi wants to stop the run, and Tennessee goes to the pass on first down.
Well, first down, they're so dangerous because they can do both. But I look for them, Tennessee, again, to try to get balanced tonight. Their running game has been absent in their first 3 ball games.
Graham only needs 20 yards to pass Stanley Morgan for number 8 all time. It's a quality back. He'll get another crack. Nice hole this time. Across the 40 to the 45. It's a first down. Now they mark it back at the 44. It may be close.
And Mike, what Tennessee's looking for tonight, it's still a young season for them. They're looking for balance. They're trying to get this tailback, 220-pound Jay Graham. As you see the trap block, Robert Poole, 65, really with a key block. And now you got a load, 220. Jay Graham stepping up in that hole, picking up the good yardage. But Mike, you want a team, they've got the quarterback, they've got Joey Kent as a receiver, but they lost 4 out of 5 fifth-year seniors in the offensive line, and this young line is going to come along. They're better right now than they were 2 weeks ago.
You would have trouble convincing Quentin Wilson, the defensive tackle, after that last play. He got buried on this, and as you can tell, a big weight advantage for the Tennessee offensive line over an undersized Ole Miss defensive line. Kent and Price are the wide receivers on 1st and 10, opening drive of the game. Graham on another counter, another big hole. Dragged down by Timothy Strickland, the free safety.
What Ole Miss would like to do tonight defensively is first downs. That's the down they have to win. Now, you saw the graphic. If they're undersized, Tommy Tuberville will try 2 different attempts tonight to slow down this Tennessee offense. They'll slant the defensive line, trying to take advantage of their quickness against a bigger offensive line. The other thing, they look for them to blitz on first down, just trying to set the tempo on that first down. So far, they haven't been able to do it.
2nd and 4, again out of the eye. This time a rear carry for the fullback, Chester Ford. Only his 4th of the season. The Tennessee fullbacks get the ball about once a game.
Well, they're blocking backs for sure. Chester Ford is going to block for Jay Graham, and I'm a firm believer in you play how you practice. And we were over at Knoxville Tuesday watching this Tennessee team practice, and they had a great practice. The pace of the practice was excellent, and they accomplished a lot. But they still have to do it in this ball game.
3rd and 2. They have the ball in Mississippi territory for the first time at the 48. Here comes the end. Stuff in the backfield. They gave it to Dustin Moore, the tight end, and no way. Great play by Andre Harrison, the junior defensive end, getting a start tonight. He stayed where he was supposed to be and made the play.
Well, you do exactly that as a defensive end. Andre Harrison's not buying the fake. Everything's going away, and then Dustin Moore, tight end's coming back, but Andre Harrison was sitting right there, and that's a big boost for Mississippi because that gets them into this ball game.
Larry Binion to kick it away to Boris Fisher. Has to let it go, then picks it up late. And Fisher in a lot of trouble. Buried inside the 15-yard line. 37-yard punt, a loss of 2 on the return. For Ole Miss on offense, Paul Head took over at quarterback late last year. He's 5-2 as a starter and a very accurate passer. His favorite target, all-SEC tight end Chris Mangum, who combines size and speed with good hands. Up front, Boyd Kinchin, versatile enough to have played both tackles. Tonight he goes to left guard, trying to get a push up the middle. And, Mike, I think you're right. I think it was a huge defensive stand from Mississippi.
Well, you try a play like that when you cross the 50-yard line. A little trick play trying to slow down pursuit, but Ole Miss was up to the task.
They'll start deep in their own territory at the 12. Little swing pass to Moore, trying to get him on the perimeter. And Moore will lose a yard. He is swarmed under Leonard Little, led the way. And that Tennessee defense always seems to be led by Little. 11 sacks a year ago, called by his coaches the best in Tennessee since Reggie White. Al Wilson leads the team in tackles with 24, the sophomore converted defensive back. And in the secondary, because of an injury to Terry Fair, strong safety Torrey Noel moves to corner. He is a wicked hitter. There is Little, compared not only to Reggie White but Lawrence Taylor, and says, boy, I'm not there yet. Those guys with immense talent, but I'm trying to get there. And Tennessee calls a defensive timeout. And it looks like it's for an equipment repair.
Did they make Coach take a timeout? Yeah.
And that's middle linebacker Tyrone Hines. There is a timeout with 11:07 to go first quarter. Ole Miss and Tennessee, nothing. Early first quarter in the sold-out Liberty Bowl. 62,000 on hand, a sea of orange, interspersed with an equal sea of red and blue. Mississippi will be facing a 2nd and 11 from the Ole Miss 11-yard line. Paul Head, the senior quarterback from Birmingham, says he's not in the least bothered about all the publicity about Peyton Manning. He just goes out and tries to do his job. Artie Moore on the toss. Cuts it back, picks up a couple to the 13. Tyrone Hines, the middle linebacker, made the stop after they turned Leonard Little, the All-American defensive end, out of the play.
Well, Leonard Little, number 1, is the perimeter player. He's trying to turn it in. He turns in the tailback, Artie Moore, to the linebackers, and they make the play. Ole Miss is not the type of team to run inside. They're a speed team. They've got to get to the corner, and Leonard Little is going to stop them tonight.
Go with 4 wide receivers, including the tight end Mangum. They put him in a slot. 3rd and long. They run the draw. They lose a yard. Middle linebacker Tyrone Hines shot the gap and just stuffed Artie Moore. Ron Green with number 55 was right there too.
Well, Ole Miss's game plan is to shorten the clock by running the football and trying not to make any mistakes, not to turn the ball over. Tyrone Hines, number 47, just taking on the block. That's a trap play all the way. Tried to trap for Artie Moore, and Tyrone Hines stepped up there and met the trap and made the tackle.
Randall Green, who is averaging almost 42 yards a kick, will have to put this one out of his end zone to Jermaine Copeland. He's back there because Terry Fair, number 3 in the country, is injured. Low line drive kick. Copeland with a chance to return and takes it to the Ole Miss 37-yard line. A 33-yard line drive punt and a 9-yard return. Regional coverage of ABC Sports College Football Saturday at 3:30. Number 4, Penn State against number 3, Ohio State. Number 7, Nebraska against 16th ranked Kansas State. And number 12, Virginia travels to Georgia Tech, as well as California against number 17, USC. Check your local listings for the ABC game in your area. Tennessee 1st and 10. Manning to throw. And off the fingertips of his tight end, Dustin Moore, who was open, and Manning hit him in the hands.
Well, the Florida game was really a tough loss for Tennessee, and especially Peyton Manning. His father, Archie, was flying back after the ball game, and we talked to Peyton the other day in Knoxville, and he said his dad put his arm around me, and he said, listen, you know, I know what you feel. As a sophomore, I threw 6 interceptions against Tennessee. You got to move on, and it's going to happen to you. Great advice, because the longer you play this game, everything happens to you.
And this kid won't get down. He is about as mature a college football player as you will ever find. In fact, it's very difficult to find anything negative to say about Peyton Manning. Here's an all-out blitz. They pick it up. Manning throws, Peerless place. Did he catch it? He did. at the 18-yard line. Peerless Price to the ground for a gain of 19. Quentin Wilson nearly got to Peyton Manning.
Well, that's the problem you have defense in Tennessee, because you want to pressure Peyton Manning because you don't want him to have that long to throw. But now all of a sudden you've got your wide receivers one-on-one with the corners out there. Peerless Price against Derek Jones. Good completion by Peyton Manning.
Is that a great name, Peerless Price?
Oh, he's got one of the best in sports.
He's got the talent to go with it, too. 1st and 10. Volunteers. Graham will only get a couple, and waiting for him was Nate Wayne, the middle linebacker, and then Brock Kreitz came over to help out.
Well, it's a good tackle by Nate Wayne, and this is great field position for Tennessee, and one advantage they have tonight is their wide receivers' height versus the corners of Ole Miss. So you may see some fade routes. Tennessee's wide receivers averaging 6'2", Tennessee's cornerbacks 5'9", so you may get the fade in the corner against these smaller corners.
They'll go with 4 wide receivers. Levine, number 19, is on a wing. Mississippi showing blitz, and Manning changing the play. Now Mississippi changes its defense. Cat and mouse. They go with a 4-man rush. Underneath them. Mississippi did a great job. They showed blitz. Manning changed the play. They backed out.
Mike, they have him confused on that play. Peyton Manning, you won't see him confused much, but Ole Miss is showing blitz, so Peyton Manning checked off. Now he's going to check off. Now all of a sudden, then they rolled to a 2-deep coverage, and now Peyton Manning has a bad play and can't get out of it. The throw, incomplete pass. Ole Miss, good call on defense by Art Kaufman, the defensive coordinator.
Even if Levine makes the catch, it's for a gain of maybe 2. It's 3rd and 10. And Mississippi wants a timeout. 8:21 to go, first quarter. Back in a moment. 0-0, first quarter, no score. Tennessee and Ole Miss. It has been a huge week for Mississippi leading up to this game. The first time the Rebels have played Tennessee since Peyton Manning made his decision not to go to his father and mother's alma mater, instead to go to Knoxville. 3rd and 10 facing Tennessee at the Ole Miss 18-yard line.
Mike, we've got a clock problem because they kept the clock moving. There should be 8:22 left on the clock, and I think that's the holdup.
The official signal timeout with 8:22 to go. They ran it down to 8:06. And now they've taken it back to 8:24.
Yeah, we like football, so that gives us a couple extra seconds.
That's right. 3rd and 10, scoreless first quarter. Manning on the half roll. Complete to the 5. It's got Joey Kent right in the chest. The #1 career receiver in the history of wide receiver U.
Well, you got to like this call, because if people are going to heat you up on defense, then you move your quarterback and you sprint him out to the left side. Peyton Manning's going to roll the left side. Now Joey Kent's the inside receiver. Drive off on the outside and a square out. Joey Kent with a good pass, good catch, but what made that play was the play call by Philip Fulmer.
He turned Derek Jones around. Graham. Fumble. Ole Miss has it. David Evans made the hit. Remember the big fumble he had 2 weeks ago against Florida.
Now you start playing a little bit with Tennessee's hip if you're Ole Miss. Now they've got to find a way to get this ball out. Jay Graham just had that football knocked out. Ronnie Hurd, #2, is going to recover it. Here's another look of it. Just didn't put the ball away. Jay Graham on the fumble. Ole Miss, poor field position, but a great turnover for the defense of Ole Miss.
They'll take the field position.
Oh, yeah, it's great turnover.
Moore. If you dance against the Tennessee defense, you're going to lose yardage, and that's exactly what he did. The coach has said he cannot dance. He's got to hit the hole.
Well, when you're playing against the Tennessee defense, and I think it's a very good defense, and a lot of people are down on this Tennessee defense, especially what Florida did to them, but I think this Tennessee team can run. They've got good speed in the secondary, and they can anchor you with Leonard Little and Billy Duff and Billy Ratliff, pretty good defensive linemen.
They give him the original line of scrimmage, so it's 2nd and 10. Ole Miss has not been able to do anything on offense. Avery now in at running back. 2 tight ends. Avery cuts away from the middle. Almost got to the 5. He was nailed. Hines and Al Wilson were right there.
Well, that's the one thing that Tommy Tuberville does not want. He does not want to get into 3rd and long situations against this Tennessee defense. Tyrone Hines, the middle linebacker, is going to read John Avery, trying to get him on a counter play. Tyrone Hines makes the tackle, came underneath the block.
Ole Miss has had the ball for 5 plays. They have 2 total yards. 3rd and long, head goes to the shotgun. Tennessee comes with a 4-man rush. Head under pressure, throws. Incomplete up at the 20. Fisher wants a flag on Gaines. He won't get it.
What good pass by Paul Head. 3rd and long, trying to get a turnover here, the Tennessee defense, but Tavoris Fisher, number 10, the inside receiver, same route that Tennessee ran. Corey Gaines in man coverage just didn't make the catch. Tavoris Fisher kind of feel like Corey Gaines hit him a little bit before the ball was there.
Randall Green stands at his end line to kick to Copeland. His last, a 33-yard line drive. Gets a better kick out this time. Copeland, fumble. Copeland picks it up and is buried at the 49. A loss of 4 on the return, but they keep the ball, and I think they threw the flag to mark the spot of the fumble.
Mike, you cannot continue to give Tennessee this good a field position. They're going to make it pay eventually.
Derek Jones was right there to make the hit. Tennessee fans have to wonder after the Florida debacle, this can't be happening again, can it?
And the Ole Miss is playing with a lot of heart tonight,
yes,
a lot
sir.
of enthusiasm on defense.
Well, there didn't appear to be any interference with the opportunity to make the catch.
There's a block in the back receiving team. While the ball was still a kick, it's in 4. Kick and down in 10.
Signal is a block in the back. It will go against Tennessee. The Vols will have the ball when we come back. Last year, 3 Tennessee offensive players set single-season record. Manning in yards per game throwing. Kent in receiving. Graham yards rushing 119.8. 2 of the 3 are on track to break those records. Manning and Kent, but Graham has struggled.
Well, the coaches at Tennessee are concerned about Jay Graham. They feel like he's trying to break every run for a touchdown. They want him to quit stopping and starting all over. They've challenged him this week to run the ball and get 4 yards of carry and run it tough.
So far, Mississippi couldn't be more pleased by the turn of events in a 0-0 first quarter. Manning, play action. Throws. Kent makes the catch, driven out of bounds at midfield. Right there with him, Malika Griffin, back up left corner.
When you have a great tailback, one of the problems you have as a coach is how much you want to hit him in fall practice, because you do not want to get him hurt. You want to get the thoroughbred to the racetrack, but sometimes you don't hit him enough. Well, last week in the open date, they put Jay Graham against the first defense, and they tackled him. They challenged this young man tonight.
6 carries or 6 yards on 4 carries for Graham. He'll get another opportunity here. Flag is down. They may have blown the play dead. Excuse me, I was giving you Peyton Manning's numbers and not Graham. He is 4 out of 6 for 53.
Move for the offensive line, 5 yards.
Motion will cost him 5. Again, the numbers on Manning, 4 out of 6, 53 yards so far.
And the more mistakes you make on offense, the more pressure it puts on that offensive line, because everybody's pointing their finger at the offensive lines, and that's the reason. That's the reason we're not moving the ball on the ground, and it's not solely the reason.
They lost 3 seniors off that unit from a year ago. They are very, very young. Graham hit in the backfield, escapes the first tackle, gets it up to the 47-yard line. Nice job by Jason Klingon, number 23. Mississippi playing it tough on defense.
gain of about 3 yards.
Nate Wayne, number 41, is going to blitz. As soon as he sees the run, he's going to step up to make the tackle on Jay Graham. He slows him down, though, so that also Jason Klingon can come up and make that tackle. Good penetration by the middle linebacker, Nate Wayne.
2nd and 12. They'll go with 3 wide receivers and the tight end in the slot. The tight end is John Sartell. Here comes pressure. Manning, that'll be a holding call. Even if it's successful, this is coming back. And Peyton Manning taken out of bounds. The tackle by Brock Kreitz. But there was an obvious offensive hold by that line, or he would have been sacked.
It looks like that Peyton Manning's a little confused by what Ole Miss is doing in the secondary. They're doing a lot of moving around, trying to give him a bad pre-snap read.
Holding by the offense during the run, 10 yards to the spot of the foul.
The hold is going to be called on Trey Teague, number 70. Let's take a look as Peyton Manning gets set up. You know, see his right hand all over number 95, Morris Scott.
Just grabbed him by the ankle and took him down. So the penalty makes it 2nd and 25. And Mike, back to your point, it is very difficult to confuse Peyton Manning because he is such a student of the game.
He watches film better than any player in college football. He's going to try to find Joey Kent here eventually.
Kent is flanked to the near side of your screen. Manning wants a screen, goes to Levine. Has a couple of blockers out in front. Levine to the 39-yard line. Beautifully designed play. Ronnie Hurd had to make the tackle, but a gain of 26.
One of the ways you slow down pressure and blitzes is by throwing the screen. Mark Levine will come out of the backfield, but now we talked about Trey Teague getting a holding call. Now Trey Teague picks up a big block for Mark Levine down the sideline. This big field position play for Tennessee. And Peyton Manning did exactly what you want on the screen. Just draw that defensive line in and throw the ball over their head.
Benji Schuler, number 81, is in for the first time for Tennessee. If the name is familiar, it should be. He is the younger brother of Heath Schuler of the Redskins, former star here. Kent the man in motion, and he got an early start. There's a flag down. Tennessee's really hurt itself with mistakes so far.
Made a lot of mistakes. Again, the week off, but that still shouldn't be a problem tonight.
Before the ball snap, movement by the offensive line, 5 yards still.
Mike, you were talking about how Peyton Manning studies film. With the 20-hour-a-week rule, it's really tough for a coach to meet with the players as much as he has in the past. And I think a lot of fundamentals have slipped a little bit because of that rule. But Peyton watches all the film of the opponents. Then when David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator, comes in on Monday, he's got 8 pages ready for him of notes and questions.
1st and 15. Play action by Manning. Has time. Throws underneath. Double team on Nash. He got it to the 39. Baseball's divisional playoffs continue tomorrow at 4 Eastern. Game 3 of the American League battle between the Orioles and the Indians. The O's lead the defending American League champs 2-0 and will send out 19-game winner Mike Messina to face Jack McDowell. It is obviously a must game for the Indians. Don't forget, it all starts at 3:30 p.m. with the playoff edition of Baseball Tonight. Second and 10. They gained 5 after the penalty, made it 1st and 15. Levine is the tailback. Manning. Pump action throw. To the 15-yard line. Joey Kent, his favorite target, tackled by Gary Thigpen, but it's a gain of 24.
Well, when you stop Tennessee, you have to stop Joey Kent. Working against Gary Thigpen, the 5'9" corner, who's an excellent corner. Just ran into him, broke off his route on the inside. Joey Kent wide open. He's the receiver that Peyton Manning likes to find over the middle.
Kent already 4 catches, 59 yards here in the opening quarter. 1st and 10. Graham back in as the running back. Graham gets 4 to the Ole Miss 11. Nate Wayne, the middle linebacker, waiting for him again.
When you see a play like that, you better have a fullback to block, and Chester Ford was blocking, and there Nate Wayne was able to step in that hole and make the tackle.
seen the other half of this 100-yard football field that has been played in the Ole Miss end. Graham again, this time lowers his head and dives near the 8, maybe the 7-yard line. Again, Nate Wayne, the middle linebacker.
Jay Graham's going to get this football. Right tackle, the right guard, Robert Poole on the trap play. Deep handoff, Nate Wayne again on the tackle.
3rd and 3. The last time down here, Tennessee fumbled the football. Graham. Play action by Manning. Throws to his tight end, Sartell, and he will not get there. Ole Miss not fooled. Ronnie Hurd was right there along with Nakia McGee.
The reason they weren't fooled, Mike, is they were in man coverage. Timothy Strickland, one of the safeties, was firing on inside, which means you got man coverage. So man coverage was by McGee, 26, on Sartell, the tight end. He stayed with him. He didn't buy the fake.
Jeff Hall, who has only had one opportunity this year and made the field goal from 46. Are his career numbers. Will come on to try the field goal from 24 yards. He knocks it through, and Tennessee, after great field position the entire first quarter, finally gets on the board, and they lead it 3-0.
And that's a credit to Ole Miss's defense. They're playing, as I said before, with a lot of heart, trying to confuse Peyton Manning tonight to make him get in some bad plays.
Let's go to Jerry Punch. Doctor?
Talk about the emotion on the Ole Miss sideline on the way to the bus ride to the Liberty Bowl, a 40-minute ride. Tommy Tuberville played the audio tape of the 1969 Tennessee-Ole Miss game, what they called the Jackson Massacre. Every time Ole Miss scored, the players began to shout a little louder and a little louder until finally the final score was read as the bus pulled into the Liberty Bowl. Ole Miss 38, Tennessee nothing, and the players leaped off the bus. They were fired up and ready to play.
Jerry, there is not anything quite like the emotion in a college football game, and it is a huge part of Mississippi history. It's a huge part of this game with all the build-up with Peyton Manning, and certainly Ole Miss has played with that emotion, Mike.
They really have on defense. Now it's time for their offense and Paul Head to try to get some field position, because you can't keep giving Tennessee's offense the ball inside the 50-yard line. They're going to make you pay. At least try to make them go 70, 80 yards, but they have to get something going. And number 13, Paul Head, has to be able to deliver for this Ole Miss offense.
They like to spread the field, throw the short passes. Head can do that. He's a very accurate thrower. 3-0. Tennessee, 1:31 to go, opening period of play. If Ole Miss gets past the 8, it will be better than their average start so far. Avery at the 8. Here's the huddle play. They break out of it, and Avery is brought down at the 8-yard line.
Took too long to develop. Trying a trick play, and you lose field position again. But what this is a muddle huddle where everybody runs in the huddle, and then they give the football to one of the players, and then everybody takes off. But he tripped.
Gary Thigpen was the guy who ended up with it.
Yeah, Gary Thigpen tripped trying to come out of that huddle.
And we're going to get to do it all over again.
They may not have the muddle huddle here.
No. I think it's the last time you're going to see it. We have not had a call from the field as yet. And now we're told the call is offside against Tennessee. Boy, that is a killer. When you are offside on the kickoff, there is no excuse for it.
Well, Tennessee's making a lot of mistakes in this first quarter. The fumble.
5-0. And some have come in big situations. Yeah, we're not going to see the huddle return on this one,
Coach. I wouldn't think so. think they're going to try to get past the 8 here. Try to give their offense a better chance against Tennessee's defense with field position.
Damon Bilbrew and John Avery are back. Avery this time from the 10. Takes it to the 28. By far the best starting position for the Rebel offense. Tennessee so far with 1:19 to go first quarter, totally dominating this game statistically, 130-2. The fumble inside the 5, a huge play. The penalties have been huge. And Mississippi's defense has stepped up when it had to. Play action by Head, in trouble, and throws it essentially away. Chris Mangum, his All-American tight end, the closest man to it. But Leonard Little was applying the pressure along with Al Wilson, the bookend defensive ends.
Leonard Little has just got so much quickness. Defensive end, UCLA blocked him with 2 people, which showed the respect they had for Leonard Little on the offense. They were going to make sure they were going to get their plays off, and Leonard Little was not going to sack their quarterback.
Mangum, the tight end, lines up in the backfield. Head throws, and Mangum just turned his head around as the ball whistled by him. Austin and Gaines were out there. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Guys, Boyd Kitchen, the left guard for Ole Miss, has been moved to center because Matt Luke, the starting center, has a mild medial collateral ligament strain on his left knee. Now, with Kitchen moved to center, that means Jonathan Casey, the 360-pounder, moves in behind Kitchen at left guard.
Boy, you can see the brace on his knee, too. Billy Ratliff, number 40, into Tennessee's defensive line on 3rd and 10. Tennessee shows blitz. Here they come. Head trying to roll out of trouble. Mangum has it at the 40. Mangum, whose late father John played at Ole Miss. His older brother John plays now with the Chicago Bears. A lot of tradition with the players on this team.
Chris Mangum knows how to get open. Good call by Tommy Tuberville because he's moving Paul Head out of the pocket because Tennessee's blitzing them every play. Mangum with a good catch. Now that changes the field position a little bit for Ole Miss. Gets them able to do some more things on offense.
Head goes to the shotgun. Draw play to Moore. Gets it to the 42. Corey Gaines firing up from his safety spot really gave him a shot.
We asked Paul Head the other day if it bothered him Peyton Manning was getting all the attention. He said no. He said we had nothing to lose. The pressure's on Tennessee. And he said when he was getting on the bus to go to practice, one of his coaches said, "There's our poor quarterback. Can't believe we won 3 games with him." But he really was joking around about it. He just said, "I'm here to have fun."
And he said, "This is a good offense for me too." 2nd and 8. Players on both sides jump. See if Tennessee had a man in the neutral zone when somebody from Ole Miss moved, or it's the other way around. Jeff Coleman got a quick start from his left defensive end spot.
Before the ball was snap movement by the offense, 5 yards.
And it will go against the Rebels. If you can get back, it's no penalty on the defense. Then if the offense moves, they get the flag. First penalty of the night on Ole Miss as we reach the end of the first quarter from the Liberty Bowl. It's 9th-ranked Tennessee 3, Ole Miss nothing. The only scoring in this game, a Tennessee field goal, 3-0 as we start the second quarter. If you'd like to see teams run the football, not tonight. Tennessee 22 yards on the ground. Mississippi has 3. Ole Miss 2nd and 13 from its own 36-yard line. Head to the shotgun. Comes the blitz. Head has plenty of time. Peterson, and Peterson up near midfield. He looks like he's about a half a yard yards shy of a first down. It's a gain of 13. The 7th catch for Peterson out of Germantown, Tennessee, a suburb of Memphis.
Well, Corey Peterson's just going to run an in route, but what makes this play is Tennessee's in a zone coverage behind the blitz, and you see the linebacker just run right by Corey Peterson. He found the hole, finally tackled by Raymond Austin. Paul Head standing in there. He's getting a little blitz from the outside, but he was content, stayed in there, and found Corey Peterson.
Inches shy as we come up to 3rd down. Mike, the Ole Miss coaches were adamant that they needed to control the ball a little bit and keep their defense off the field. They can't have them out there all night.
No, and they've shortened the game, and all their wins are their first ball games this year. The defense has only played less than 60 plays, and so they can't get in a game where their defense is on the field much more than that. 57 players on scholarship, a very thin football team.
3rd and inches. Artie Moore, the running back. Moore. I don't think so. I wondered if Paul Head saw the gap to his left. If they ran a quarterback sneak, I think they'd have made it.
Well, what happens on this is Ron Green, number 55, is going to get up underneath and make the play right here. See, he beats the guard and makes the play in the backfield. And Ole Miss doesn't have a big running threat inside.
They line up to go for it on 4th and inches from midfield. Moore, a flag is down. He got the first down, but let's check the marker. This is a huge play for both teams, I'm telling you.
I like the call because you're playing against Peyton Manning and a pretty good offense. You can't just keep giving them the ball back.
And it's the offside call against Tennessee, and the Ole Miss side is fired up.
And Mike, they continue to make mistakes on Tennessee's sideline. That's the 6th penalty.
Tommy Tuberville came here to win this football game. Trying to bring his program back from the edge of elimination. Tennessee showing blitz again. Head to toss. Avery trying to get outside. He does. Avery has great speed. The junior college transfer from originally Asheville, North Carolina, gets a gain of 17.
Chris Mangum, number 82, is going to make a block that's going to be able to get John Avery to the corner. He blocked Al Wilson, the linebacker, and Avery shows you his speed in Northwest Mississippi. He had to graduate. He committed to Tennessee, but he was waiting on his test scores and ended up in Ole Miss instead.
And they are thrilled to have him. 1st and 10, Ole Miss down 3-0, but driving to take the lead. Head, a little swing pass. Avery pushed out of bounds, may have picked up a yard. Corey Gaines chased him out there. Tennessee playing in its secondary without Terry Fair, the outstanding corner. And actually, Mike, they're playing with 4 true safeties tonight.
4 safeties do not have any of their starting corners tonight.
2nd and 9. This drive has gone 44 yards, by far the best offensive showing of the night. Draw Avery. Tries to cut it outside. May have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage.
When Tommy Tuberville took over this program, they almost got the death penalty by the NCAA, and one of the first things he did when he hired his staff was they started talking to their own players. They spent 2 weeks to try to talk them into not transferring because they could transfer, being on probation and be eligible right away at another school. And then the next 2 weeks, he sent coaches into their homes over Christmas, again, trying to keep the players he had in his program from transferring. They only lost 1 player. Pretty good strategy.
Great tribute to him. Bilbrew and Head, the wide receivers, split wide. 2 slot backs to the near side on 3rd and 9. Head changing the play. Now he's going to have to use a timeout. 13:24 to go first half. It is a 3-0 Tennessee lead.
It's country driving. It's fancy coat time. Ooh, it's the football team, your beauty queen. It's why we're right nearby. That's the ball.
3rd and 9. We are back to action as the official wound the clock. No timeout. Head throws, lays it up there. A lot of contact. That's going to be interference. Torrey Noel against Hurd. Let's see who it goes against. A lot of arm fighting on the way down. Usually they'll give the penalty to the defense.
See more and more contact in college football with the corners against the wide receivers. A lot more of the strategy of playing man-to-man on the outside, and a lot of bumping going on in college football each weekend.
There are markers down at the 17-yard line and at the 4. We could have 2 different penalties on this play.
Against the defense, pass interference against the...
We do, and they're both against Tennessee.
Torrey Noel, number 9, working against the fade, Grant Hurd, and he just bumped him up the field when the ball was in the air. You see him kind of lean into him, get his left shoulder in Grant Hurd's body, and that's the penalty.
Tennessee has cost itself 54 yards on 7 penalties. It is a first down for Ole Miss. They'll have the ball at the 16-yard line. Tennessee mistakes are killing this team. If you saw the Florida game, and I know both of us did, I mean, it was a blitz with their mistakes.
They made a lot of mistakes. It's interesting in that Florida game. Florida had the first drive, and they had a 4th down play and threw a 4th and 12 pass, and Tennessee's in a great coverage and just busted the coverage and the wide open, and that kind of set the tempo for Steve Spurrier in the whole ball game.
Moore and Avery in there together. Split backs. 1st and 10, Rebels. Avery cuts it back inside. Avery with a knock. What nice design on that play. Send the man in motion one side, go with a pitch to the other side.
Well, you're so concerned because of the speed of John Avery. You're going to watch Leonard Little. He just breaks outside here and really opens up the hole. Look at him go way outside, gets a little bump by the offensive guard, Shannon Provencher, and then John Avery is able to stick it inside. Pretty nice drive by Ole Miss.
2nd and 3 for the Rebels. Moore the single setback. 2 tight ends, 2 wideouts. Moore stuck in the backfield. He never had a chance. Tennessee just fired everybody through there.
Corey Terry, number 22, just stepping inside. This is Corey Terry right here. He's going to break inside and make that tackle before the play even started. Blew up in the backfield. Artie Moore, who's the inside runner for Ole Miss, and that's what they really lack. They lack a big running back when they get inside short yardage situations.
He did a great job just to hold on to that ball. Head on 3rd down under pressure. Stumbled, lost his balance, may have been able to get back to the line of scrimmage down at the 18.
Mike, but what his thinking was on this play, he didn't have anybody open. Don't throw the interception. At least set us up for a field goal situation.
And he has a good field goal kicker in Tim Montz, who is 4 out of 6, has a very strong leg. And after some consideration, they'll send on the field goal unit.
And this is huge for Ole Miss confidence-wise. They need to tack 3 on here and tie this ball game up.
Montz, the senior. Randall Green will hold. It will be a 35-yard attempt. And now the play clock runs down. They'll lose 5 yards.
Well, you talked about it, Mike. A little delay in coming out. And I don't think they were thinking about going for the 4th down play. I just think they were a little slow getting their kicking team out on the field.
Well, you can't do that.
No.
Now, 35 yards, it may not sound like much, but for a kicker, the difference between 40 and 35 is big. Montz to tie it up. Plenty of leg, and right down the pipe, we're tied at 3. 10:56 to go in the half. Ole Miss with the comeback. We're at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. 10:56 to go. First half of play. Ole Miss and Tennessee tied at 3. An impressive drive by Mississippi. 49 yards, maybe the best thing they could have done. 5:35 off the clock,
and
Mike.
They're keeping Peyton Manning off the field, and they kept their defense, gave them a rest. It was a big drive for Ole Miss.
Mark Levine, the deep man, awaiting the kick of Steve Lindsay. Low liner this time. Levine, 3 yards deep, bobbled it. It'll take a knee. The Ole Miss defense came up big early in this game. Tennessee playing in the Mississippi half of the field. Graham inside the 5 fumbles the football. Then on 3rd and 3, a big defensive stand. They complete a pass, but short of a first down. That set up the field goal to give Tennessee a 3-0 lead.
Mike, the offensive coaches from Tennessee now have an idea what Ole Miss is doing, so it'll be interesting on this drive to see how they try to pick this defense.
Graham slips out of a tackle and dives forward near the 28-yard line.
Here's the strategy right now, because all of a sudden now they're bringing in 2 tight ends. They've got a size advantage on Ole Miss. They got a depth advantage on Ole Miss. Now they're going to 2 tight ends to balance the defense up to run the counter play with Jay Graham.
Full of offensive talent, this club. Manning 8 out of 10. Candace caught 4. Graham now up to 35 yards, but on 9 carries, less than 4 a shot. Graham again, he has the first down this time out to the 34, near the 35-yard line. This is exactly what Tennessee wanted to do, but I'm sure they didn't want to be in a 3-3 tie a third of the way through the second quarter.
Now, Mike, what you do when you want to run the football and you think you're better than the other team is you go to 2 tight ends. That gets the 7-man front to balance up a little bit. Dustin Moore, John Sartell, the 2 tight ends, and then you run the football.
And, of course, you got those great wideouts, Kent and Price, both of them flying to the near side this time. Manning looks that way, throws to Price. He's gang tackled up at the 42. Let's go to Jerry Punch. Doctor?
You would think Peyton Manning was a coach and not a quarterback. During the change of position, he stood in front of his offensive line and said, "Hey, guys, number 1, can you hear me?" Now, if you can hear me, you know what they're doing. They're coming up and faking a blitz, and I'm checking out. Now, I'm going to stop checking out if you guys can handle it, because they're getting us out of our offense. The offensive line said, "Peyton, you stay with the play, and we'll stop the blitz."
All right, thanks, Jerry. And that's what makes this kid special. Just one of the things. Graham. Big hole up the middle across midfield into Ole Miss territory at the 43. Ridden down from behind by Landing and Strickland.
It's clear now what Tennessee's going to do on offense with the 2 tight ends. They're now going to run the football and then set up the pass. Jay Graham, number 25, it's just a cut-back run. You see they're handling Ole Miss in the defensive line. Trey Teague, 70, with a real nice block.
Graham, 11 carries. He's up to 56 yards, and that means Ole Miss is going to have to bring more people up to the line of scrimmage. Graham again. Gaping hole off the left side down to the 32. He gave Strickland a free ride.
And if you're sitting at home, you say, well, what does Ole Miss have to do now? They've got to commit another player up to try to stop the run. They've got to get line movement. They've got to blitz it a little bit. But when you do that right now, the success they're having running the football, Joey Kent and Marcus Nash are going to be on an island with those 2 smaller corners, Derek Jones and Gary Thigpen.
Another first down for the Volunteers. 62 yards tonight, approaching their average, which is one of the worst in the country. That's the fullback, Eric Lane. Lane breaks a tackle. Touchdown. Gary Thigpen missed him, and he went 32 yards for the score.
Mike, they can't handle him up inside. They just give away too much weight, and they just number 70, the left tackle. Block down and then stay on his block. And then Eric Lane just buying in the secondary. Now, one player has a chance, Thigpen, to make that play and doesn't make it. And the band director hits the fight song.
Jeff Hall for the point after. Eric Lane coming into that carry had 2 carries for 7 yards. That was 32. Tennessee has taken a 10-3 lead over Ole Miss, and that last drive was pure old-fashioned Southern smash-mouth football. 5 plays, 80 yards. They just ate them up.
And I'm sure they talked to the offensive line, said, hey, they're doing so many things in the secondary. We've got to balance them up and run the football. The challenge is yours.
Chris Hogue with the kickoff. Avery driven 6 yards deep. He'll keep it there. ESPN is your home for college football. On Saturday in prime time, the Clemson Tigers head to Tallahassee to do battle with the Florida State Seminoles and Warwick Dunn. But first, tune in at 11:30 a.m. for College Game Day and stay with us at 10 p.m. for the Residents in College Scoreboard Show. Ole Miss facing a challenge now after Tennessee marches 80 yards on the ground, most of it at least, for a 10-3 lead.
You know who has to come up big for Ole Miss tonight? Chris Mangum. He's like the Joey Kent for Ole Miss. He's the possession-type receiver.
Head on what looked like a busted play, and they'll blow it dead. That will cost the Rebels 5. And they need plus, not minus yardage.
Well, they're not a down-the-field passing team against Auburn and the other opponents they played, Vanderbilt and the 2 Division I AA teams. Little short passing game, just trying to get outside.
And they have not been able to get the ball to Boris Fisher. Avery cuts it back, showing some speed, gets to the corner again. Only got about 3 yards out of it. Pretty good-looking running back. Boris Fisher missed the last game with a hamstring. They say he's 100%. He only needs 13 more catches to set the career record at Ole Miss for receptions.
And they line him up a lot in the 4-receiver set as the inside receiver, so he's going to get a lot of opportunities to catch the football. Second and 13. 4-man rush. Head in trouble. Throws. Mangum at the 34. Nice grab. Took it right off his shoe tops. See, he's the player that you want to go to when you get in trouble. He's got excellent hands. He's a good blocker. But he's one of those type players that's going to compete all the time. Gets knocked off his route a little bit by Al Wilson. But look at that catch. Good concentration, low ball. Able to go down like Willie Miranda, the shortstop, and make that catch. He played for Alabama when they won the national championship, then transferred to Mississippi. He's a native of McGee, Mississippi. Head rolling again. Sets and throws too high for Mangum. Really overshot him. Pretty good coverage out there. Jonathan Brown was applying the pressure, and Al Wilson, the linebacker, was right with Mangum. Well, the coaches tell you about Chris Mangum. They say he's truly a college All-American football player, and he's picked on a lot of the preseason All-American teams. He was up to 265 pounds under the previous coaching staff, and Tommy Tuberville came in and said, you're one biscuit away from being an offensive lineman, and he went on a diet in a heartbeat. Quick diet. You don't want to be a tackle. You want to be a tight end going out catching the football, not blocking. Second and 10, 7:54 to go first half. 10-3 Volunteers. Five-man rush. Head unloads. Got it. Complete up to the 37-yard line. Fisher tripped up by Parker. Jason Parker made a nice tackle. He was suspended last year. Talked about transferring to Marshall, but the coaches recruited him, just kept staying on him. He went down to Dallas, was working and washing cars, but they talked him into coming back. You're going to see number 7 just come up and make a big tackle. Shoestring tackle into Boris Fisher. He was part of that phone gate scandal that hurt so many of the Tennessee players. 3rd and 7 for Ole Miss.
deep in the pocket. Throws complete. They'll have a first down out at the 48-yard line. Corey Gaines makes the tackle on Andre Roan. Ronnie Pillow nearly got to Paul Head, but Head can move around in the pocket very, very well.
This is Billy Ratliff, number 40, putting pressure on. You see, he's being held right here. He can't get to Paul Head, but Paul Head steps up in the pocket, and that's what you want a quarterback to do. When it starts collapsing, move around, step up, make that pass completion to Andre Roan.
Roan, another player out of Northwest Community College in Mississippi. Artie Moore checks in as the running back on 1st and 10 from the 47. Moore couldn't get a block that time, dragged down for a loss of 1. Lawrence Adams trying to throw him a block at 5'10", 180, didn't get it done, and Tyrone Hines wrapped him up.
One of the more active defensive linemen for Tennessee is Billy Ratliff. He's 6'3", 265 pounds. He was a linebacker out of high school, and he's from Magnolia, Mississippi. He wanted to go to Ole Miss, but with Ole Miss on probation, he just decided to go to Tennessee. But he's one of the more active defensive linemen, number 40.
Artie Morris had no luck tonight. 6 carries. He's lost 4 yards. 2nd and 12. Head under pressure. Unloads. Complete at the 28-yard line. Grant Hurd was the only one looking at the football. Got it for 18. That's a heck of a throw by Paul Head under a lot of pressure.
Watch the pass protection. When you're outmanned in the defensive line, watch these offensive linemen chop them. All going down low to try to bring the hands down. Omar Edwards, number 54, with that block.
Raymond Austin never saw the ball.
No, he got separated from Grant Hurd. When you're playing man-to-man coverage, you've got to be able to stay on the hip of the wide receiver.
Again, they are playing with 4 safeties on the field tonight, in part because Terry Farrah's injury. There is a marker down on the play. It appeared to come down very late. I didn't see it until just a moment ago.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against the offensive team on the bench. 15 yards, the first down and 10.
Tommy Tuberville questioning the call. We are told it is called on the Ole Miss bench.
Well, put an asterisk beside that because you're now 1st and 25. And you're all of a sudden you were inside the 30-yard line. Now you're back outside your opponent's 42-yard line.
Well, I don't get that one.
Now
I mean, isn't that taking the celebration penalty a little too far?
Now they're going to make it 1st and 10. Lost good field position.
1st and 10 from the 43. Tends to kill your momentum, too. Here comes the blitz. Head hangs in there and throws complete again down to the Tennessee 34-yard line.
Tennessee keeps bringing linebackers, keeps playing man coverage in the secondary, and Paul Head's getting excellent protection from his offensive line. Remember that last play, they chopped them all at the ankles. This time they were able to stand in there and pretty well pass protect.
Hurd made another catch, and Tuberville really likes him. He says he reminds him a lot of Michael Irvin when he was at Miami. 2nd and a yard. Out of the shotgun, 4-man rush. First down on the pass, complete again. Andre Roan, wrapped up by Austin. Right now, this Mississippi offense is gaining a lot of confidence on things it can do.
And remember, Tennessee's missing 2 corners. They've got safeties playing at the corner position, and that's exactly where Ole Miss has decided to try to throw the passing game. There's Terry Farrah, and he's out tonight.
Austin, a former safety, has become a corner. 1st and 10 Ole Miss. We're under 5 minutes to go in the half. This is another impressive drive. Moore finally has a little running room wrapped up as he got to the 27-yard line. Nick Jester, number 45, waiting for him in the hole.
Well, Artie Moore was one of the top running backs out of the state of Mississippi, and he decided to go to LSU as a freshman and then transferred back to Ole Miss. He's from Mississippi. Good, solid runner for Tommy Tuberville. Wiggins, Mississippi.
And this coaching staff has done a good job in their limited chances to recruit of keeping Mississippi players in state.
We had Rufus French last year, was number 1 tight end, got him signed.
This drive, 53 yards already, 3:45 off the clock, 2nd and 7. floats it out. Complete at the 8-yard line. Andre Roan had his hands on it, but hit by Jason Parker and couldn't hold it. That was a catchable ball.
Well, Raymond Austin is going to just belt Andre Roan when he comes off the line of scrimmage at about 5 yards. And I think that contact really slowed down the route. Now he's coming out of the break after he made contact, and Jason Parker coming over the top on 2 deep coverage to strip the ball away.
3rd and 7. Huge play for Ole Miss. Head on the wall, hit from behind, fumble the football, still loose. Tennessee recovers. Leonard Little from behind.
Key situations, you're always looking for your best players to make plays. They always do. Leonard Little, quarterback rolling away. You're going to see Leonard Little come in and hit the back of Paul Head. What caused that fumble was that the coverage was great on Chris Mangum.
3:54 to go in the half. Back in a moment. 10-3 Tennessee as they get the turnover, take the ball away from Paul Head on the fumble. Let's go back to that play.
Well, here's why the sack was occurring. Taboris Fisher's going to come down, and there's contact here by Al Wilson, and they're trying to go to number 82, Chris Mangum. They're going to clear out, but the contact, and now all of a sudden they've got Mangum covered. Paul Head tried to pull the ball down, was hit by Leonard Little.
Tennessee comes out with 2 tight ends, the formation that was so successful on the last drive. Peyton Manning. Sartell, did he make the catch? He did at the 48-yard line. Nice diving catch by Sartell. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Guys, a moment ago, the unsportsmanlike conduct call that went against the Ole Miss bench, I'm told by the officials that was against Hugh Nall, the offensive line coach for Ole Miss, who apparently in a motion stepped out on the field and got the penalty. That was why they had the dead ball and sportsmanlike conduct call. Mike,
I don't know about you, but I think that's an incredible call. Graham trying to get outside on the sweep. Will pick up some yards, thanks to a tackle out at the 40.
Mike, that's a big call to make on the sideline. If the coach just stepped on the field, I don't remember a warning to the sideline to stay back. Usually, if that occurs, the official will warn the sideline and back everybody up. But to make that call just for that coach stepping on that field, I think that penalty was too big.
Graham now, big night so far, 13 carries, 76 yards. He'll get a breather as Mark Levine checks in. Kent and Nash, the wide receivers, on 2nd and a yard. Levine will get a carry. No, it's play action Manning. Great fake. Then he throws. Kent. Joey Kent to the 15 and out of bounds. What a play fake by Manning.
Mike, that's why he's the best quarterback in college football, because his whole game, he takes a lot of pride in it. When you can have a quarterback who's going to fake the football and take pride in faking the football, it's going to do so much to open up the defense. Look at this fake. Gave the left hand, folded over. Now he's going to drill the ball to Joey Kent, and good coverage against Joey Kent. That ball's on the money against Gary Thigpen again.
And nice job by Levine to carry out the fake. Here's Manning. Kent inside the 5. Let's check in with Chris Fowler. Chris?
Okay, Mike, coming up on our Coors Light halftime report, we'll update the baseball playoffs. We'll talk about the Buckeyes and the Lions. More to it than the guys in the trenches, and the task for the Huskers defense against a very good Kansas State team. They tell me they call this dual imagery. We'll see you back at halftime.
All right, Chris, thanks very much. We'll look forward to it. 2:43, and now the officials will stop the clock. Ole Miss wants the timeout to talk it over defensively. 10-3 Tennessee. The Vols driving. We'll be back to Memphis after this. 10-3 Tennessee with the lead and driving for more against Ole Miss. They have the ball inside the 5. One scout said Peyton Manning's the first draft choice in the NFL draft this year, next year, last year, whenever he wants to come out. 12 out of 14, 170 yards. 2nd and 1. 2 fullbacks in the game in front of Graham. Graham with a carry. There's a flag down, and Graham dives to the 2. We'll check the penalty.
offsides on Ole Miss.
Now mistakes starting to hurt the Rebels.
Off at half the distance to the goal line, first down.
Mike, there's no doubt in the last 5 or 10 years, Peyton Manning's the best quarterback I've seen come out of college football. He will go to the pro football level and be like a Dan Marino, John Elway. I mean, there's nothing this guy can't do. I mean, he's just got it all.
Every attribute you could ask for. The only way Tennessee doesn't score is turning the ball over down here. Fullback to the goal line, Chester Ford with his second carry of the night gets near the 1. And what an emotional ride this week has been for Peyton Manning, knowing he's going to play his dad's alma mater. And Archie and his wife Olivia have kept a very low profile for this game. They are here. They won't tell anybody where they're sitting. We're still looking for them, and what a roller coaster it's got to be for them emotionally. Graham. Jay Graham with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. And Tennessee now with breathing room.
Tennessee's offensive line just owning the line of scrimmage. And the key here is stay as low as you can. Do not allow any penetration. That's exactly what they did. Chester Ford, number 20, will lead Jay Graham into the end zone.
The point after, and 17-3 Tennessee. The last 2 drives have been lovely to watch if you want to watch a team mix up plays, play some smash mouth, and then use it to set up play action passes.
Well, you talked about the week that Peyton Manning's had with his father, his former team, and Tommy Tuberville told us, he said the first person that called him after he got the job, one of the first was Archie Manning, congratulating him on it. He's a big Ole Miss supporter, but Peyton wanted this game not because it was Ole Miss, but because they had lost the Florida game and wanted to respond to that loss.
Third round coverage of the PGA Las Vegas Invitational starts tomorrow at 2 o'clock from the Tournament Players Club at Summerlin, and 4th round coverage will continue on Saturday at 4. Final round action Sunday at 8 Eastern. That's from Las Vegas, and of course Tiger Woods making that late season run to scrape up another couple of $100,000. Avery and Bilbrew are deep for Ole Miss. And how big is that turnover now? Avery fumbles it at the goal line. Avery showing that speed again, even with the bobble, gets it out across the 20 to the 22. Let's go to Jerry Punch. Doctor.
Guys, let's clarify the unsportsmanlike conduct call I commented on a moment ago. I spoke with linesman James Wilson, who made the call, and asked him if he had warned the Ole Miss bench. He told me that when the coach is on the field, you don't have to warn him. That's clearly a penalty, and that's why he called it.
All right, Jerry, thanks for clearing that up for us. Still, that is a heck of a way to get a 15-yard penalty.
A lot of coaches will step out there, and of course they're warned usually.
Sort of like the coach's box in basketball. Seems a little silly. Here's Avery, the tailback, smacked as he got across the 25 to the 26. And if you're Ole Miss here, you just don't want to do anything silly, right?
No, and you hate for something like that to happen to coach. He's excited in the ball game. He's competing, and all of a sudden he steps on the field and gets a 15-yard penalty and hurts the drive. So, no, I don't agree with that call. They can take that call.
Yeah, they can have that rule. Clock turning, 1:16 to go first half, 2nd and 7 for the Rebels. Head using as much time as he can. He's watching that play clock. Avery again. He's got some quickness to him. He gets it up to the 29-yard line.
John Avery.
Tennessee stops the clock with 53 seconds to go in the half. Coming up at halftime, we'll go back to our ESPN studios, of course. Chris Fowler standing by for the Coors Light halftime report. We'll bring you up to date on the Cardinal-Padre game this afternoon as they took it down to the wire, and of course an update on the Braves and the Dodgers and our hidden video segment. Cardinals now up 2-0 on the Padres.
You're not really excited about that, are you?
Been a Cardinal fan since I was 4 years old.
Let's go back to the Tennessee plays that they made on defense. The coverage against DeMaurice Fisher. You see the contact, and Mangum's covered. That kept the ball. Now watch Paul Head. He wants to deliver, but he sees the contact in the secondary. He brought that ball back in. Leonard Little makes that tackle, and it led Jay Graham over the top for the touchdown.
53 seconds to go in the half. Mississippi with a 3rd and 4.
And Tennessee has 1 timeout left. They want to get their offense back out there. So if Ole Miss doesn't get the first down here, they're going to use that last timeout. They want the ball in Peyton Manning's hand one more time.
Were you of the opinion that you wanted to call a pass play here and make sure you got the first down, or did you just run it?
No, I want to make sure I get the first down, but I think they're going to have to throw to get the first down. They can't run the ball against this Tennessee defense.
Had to throw under some pressure. His receiver fell down. Andre Roan was out there in the flat, and when the ball was released, he ended up right on his keister.
When you do that, Mike, when you throw the ball, you leave Tennessee with 1 timeout now in 48 seconds. So you're going to hope that your punter can get off a good kick, and there's a slight breeze in the punter's face, so Tennessee could end up with good field position and 1 timeout.
Randall Green will come on to kick it away, and Jermaine Copeland waits inside his 40. Low snap, he fields it and just got it out of there. Copeland did not make the fair catch, and he is crushed. Or did he signal for the fair catch?
I don't think so. I think they're going to call that rule where he's just inside too quick, and I don't know. No, that wasn't either.
No.
If that's going to be the call, that's a mistake.
Derek Jones just unloaded. It's the dream of somebody covering a kick. You have to give him 2 yards, and that was more than 2 yards.
Mike, that's a backup quarterback.
5 yards against the kicking team for violating the...
No,
that bad call. This is Jermaine Copeland right here, who's the backup quarterback. They're trying to get on the field more. Derek Jones just makes a good timing hit. That's a bad call.
That's 2.5 steps, and with that speed, that's at least 5 yards. Boy, 2 calls have really hurt Ole Miss. Manning, busted play.
They got to use the timeout. What I think happened on that play, Mike, is he had the uncovered receiver rule, and he was going to try to throw the ball out, and all of a sudden, Ole Miss again confused and jumped into a different coverage and got him caught. And he's saying, it's my fault. I made the mistake. I was going to throw the uncovered receiver rule, and they fooled me.
Well, he's the kind of kid they're not going to fool twice, isn't he? That was the last timeout they have. 25 seconds to go on the clock.
He said his dad taught him how to watch film. He said when he was a sophomore in high school, he sat down with his father and he said, show me what you're looking at in film. And he said, listen, I'll take you to a Saints game, and I want you to watch the secondary. And he said, if you're going to watch film, you watch it the right way. Watch coverage, and then you can watch the rest of the defense. And he learned as a sophomore in high school to spend a lot of time looking at the defense.
When he initially chose Tennessee over Ole Miss, there were a lot of people that were very, very bitter about it. I mean, a lot. There are only a handful of people left that are bitter about it. I think everybody in Tennessee and Mississippi understands that Peyton Manning did what was best for him, considering the situation at Ole Miss, even though how much his mom and dad love Mississippi and have been the best ambassadors for the state and the program.
Right, and Tommy Tuberville said he made a great decision for himself, really, because they were on probation and they really were not running the offense that was going to be what Peyton Manning needed at the time.
2nd and 5. 25 seconds, no timeouts. Draw play, Graham hitting the backfield. Nice defensive play by Quentin Wilson out of Nassau Community College.
Tried to catch him sleeping on defense with a 3-man rush, but Quentin Wilson really came up big to make that play on the draw. Just going to let it die now.
Manning will not go under center. And that That's the end of the first half. Our score, Tennessee 17, Ole Miss 3. Now let's join Chris Fowler for the Coors Light halftime report. Halftime at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis with Tennessee leading Ole Miss 17-3. Welcome back, everybody. Mike Patrick, Mike Gottfried. Peyton Manning showed you just about everything he could show you in the first half, didn't he?
Well, he's a great quarterback. Had an excellent first half. He rolled to the left side. He rolls to the right. He drops back. He play actions. He fakes. We're going to see him first roll to the left side. Watch him get his shoulders turned and then get a good zip on the ball. Now he goes the other way to the right side. Gets his shoulders turned again. Drills that ball right in there. Drop back pass. Looks off the receiver. Looks off DBs and finds Joey Kent over the middle. Didn't make many mistakes in that first half.
A quarterback's passing chart will sometimes tell you where he has a weakness. This tells you he doesn't have a weakness.
He has no weakness. Peyton Manning is as good a quarterback college football as you're going to see.
Ole Miss will get the football as we start the second half. And just think back to the drive when it was 10-3 and they were deep in Tennessee territory. Got a penalty call on the bench and pushed them back. Avery, 2 yards deep, he'll bring it out. Will not make the 20-yard line. First half stats, Mississippi was totally dominated early, picked it up a little bit. It's still 277-115. And Tennessee did the one thing that they insisted they had to do tonight. They rushed for 107 yards in the first half.
Well, they didn't until they went to 2 tight ends. Once they were able to balance the Ole Miss defense up, then they were able to unleash Jay Graham. Ole Miss has not been able to run the football.
Paul Head leads them out. He'll start from his own 19-yard line with Artie Moore as his running back. Avery on a wing. Head with time. He wants a screen. Now he throws this one away. And there's the intentional grounding call. Now that, to me, that's a good call by the official because Head, trying to say he had a receiver, obviously threw that one in the ground.
Well, they may wipe this one off because there was a receiver out there.
Intentional grounding on the play.
And
looks like lost it down from the spot.
Paul Head's arguing this case, but to no avail. So the back got knocked down. Artie Moore got knocked down. That's why he wasn't out there. I don't agree with that call. I haven't agreed with the call tonight.
Well, with good reason, I think.
Well, the first call, the bench call, I still would be. I'd be very upset if I was Tommy Tuberville on that call. This call, Paul Head's got to get over it. And the ball marked back inside the 1 on intentional grounding. Second and 29. Head to throw out of his own end zone. Right to a Tennessee linebacker, Craig King. Terrible throw by Head, and King makes the pick. See, that call affected him and threw him off a little bit because Paul Head was arguing. He's upset. He's upset at the call that was made by the official because his running back got knocked down. He had no place to throw it. But then he takes it to the second play and then throws the interception to Craig King. 44 is just going to sit back here and pick this ball off. Paul Head eyeing the receiver from the start of the play and then just throws it poorly. Good coverage by Tennessee, and you can't allow a play that happened a play ago just affect you that much.
Never saw King. Jay Graham, the tailback. Manning changing the play. Delay of game. And now you see Adams over there talking to Head, trying to get him to calm down, because you're right, Mike. It really played with his mind.
You go back to back. That's Noel Mazzoni there, the offensive coordinator, and he's talking it over with him also. But he's still upset about the fact his running back got knocked down. There couldn't be anybody out there for the screen because he got knocked down.
Second and goal now from the 11. Manning wants to throw. Intended for Price. Excellent coverage, incomplete.
Pass for number 16, Peyton Manning.
Trying to take advantage of the 5'8" corner. Peerless Price, 6'1", against Derek Jones, but great coverage by Derek Jones.
Derek Jones, preseason All-ACC, and he's wearing that coveted number 38, the Chucky Mullins number. And that is an honor for a Mississippi defensive player to get that jersey. Second and goal. Graham. Huge hole. Graham to the 5.
Talked about earlier how the coaches, David Cutcliffe, Randy Sanders, the running back coach, challenged Jay Graham this week in practice. They said when you get that football, you run for 4 yards. Don't start and stop. Trey Teague, number 70, the left tackle, has had a big night. Blocking Morris Scott here, got his shoulders turned, and then Jay Graham was able to follow the block.
Third and goal from the 5. Peyton Manning has hit 10 straight passes. The school record is 11, one of the few he doesn't already own. Under pressure. Touchdown. Marcus Nash with the catch.
You talked about a school record, but what's more impressive on this play is the strength of the arm, because he's drifting back, and Peyton Manning's finding Marcus Nash in the end zone, and they were able to take advantage of the turnover Ole Miss made on offense.
Hall for the point after. Tennessee now on a roll, 24-3 over Ole Miss. Marcus Nash with his first touchdown catch of the year. Manning just laid it out and let him run under. Tennessee celebrating with good reason. They are now up 24-3 over Ole Miss. 13:55 to go, third quarter, from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Avery from the 4. Got speed to the 23-yard line. Let's go to Jerry Pine.
Guys, at halftime, Ole Miss head coach Tommy Tuberville talked about how difficult it was for his offensive line to handle the front 4 of Tennessee. He said, we're going to change some blocking schemes up front. We may even go to some cut blocks. We have got to get Paul Head some time to throw the football. We've been trying to throw the ball downfield. Now, in the second half, we're going to have to go to shorter routes to try to keep the football. In order to keep the football, we've got to move the football. Mike?
Stuart Partridge, Jerry, has come onto the field. Now, they have practiced a flea flicker with him in there. High snap. Partridge under pressure. Instead, he just throws a routine pass up to the 27. There's a marker down on the play. Tennessee applauding. It looks like a hole.
His first pass complete on the right side of number 10 for Morris Fisher.
10 yards, repeating first down.
Partridge in limited action. He had pushed for a starting job this year. Has hit 8 out of 13 for 114 yards through 4 games.
The mistakes Tennessee made in the first half, Ole Miss started making in the second quarter, and are still continuing here in the third quarter.
Now, you have to wonder if Partridge has come in because Head was so upset on that last sequence when he threw the interception.
He had a right to be upset, but you have to shake it off. When that play's over, it's over.
Peterson and Hurd to the wide receivers. Billy Duff with the recovery. Little knocked it loose. Partridge never saw him.
Leonard Little, when he comes off the corner, he comes off with so much speed. He lined up late, and I don't believe the tackle saw him. Devon Colburn, number 74, didn't account for him, built up with the fumble recovery and the touchdown.
Well, somebody ought to find a defensive end who's been compared to Reggie White.
What made the play, oh, Mike, I don't think Devon Colburn, the offensive tackle, was able to pick up where Leonard Little was lined up. You see him right here. He's standing as a backer. Now, all of a sudden, on the snap of the ball, once that quarterback puts his hands under the center, he's moving, and they busted the protection. Devon Coburn didn't come out on Leonard Little.
Patridge nearly got killed. Bill Duff, the junior from Delran, New Jersey, able to pick it up and walk into the end zone. And it's 31-3.
Devon Coburn, he said, hey, I didn't count him. I didn't see him. You know, but you have to be able to get your head on a swivel.
Leonard, you've got to block inside first anyway.
Yeah, he needed help on the tackle, but he has to come out on Leonard Little. He's the only player that can block him.
Little, who had 11 sacks a year ago, came into this game with only one, but that's a huge play for him. And a huge play for Tennessee. This one, it makes it 31-3. And 3 Mississippi turnovers have just killed the Rebels. Avery and Bilbrough deep to receive again. And this one goes out of bounds. A break for Ole Miss. Hope you'll be with us Saturday morning, 11:30 a.m. College Game Day. This week we're live from Columbus, Ohio, in anticipation of what should be a great game. Number 4 Penn State, number 3 Ohio State. Other stories the gang will be following. Chris Fowler looks at the state of Oklahoma football. Kirk Herbstreit gets on the field with a Buckeye defense, and we profile Penn State tailback Curtis Enis. That's College Game Day live from Columbus, Ohio, Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. And our congratulations to Kirk Herbstreit, our nominee for Rookie of the Year in ESPN broadcasting. He's done a tremendous job. Patrick gives it to Avery. Avery wrapped up by a little at the 30.
What Tennessee's doing on defense now is trying to disguise where Leonard Little lines up. You saw him on the blitz on the right side. Now all of a sudden they try to run. He's on the left side. He's going to beat Chris Magnum's block. He just pushes him away and then makes the tackle on John Avery. You know, when you're a dominating pass rusher and they disguise where you're at, it's tough to pick you up. It's tough to double you a little bit because of your pre-designed blocking schemes.
He is only 230, but he is extremely strong, excuse me. Ole Miss on offense has lost 42 yards in this game. Now they've lost 48. Little was in there again and got some help.
Well, Stuart Patridge is going to wonder where number 1 has come from all night. Leonard Little, since Stuart Patridge has come in the ball game, he's been a human eraser here on the offense for Ole Miss, but nobody's blocking him. Another busted blocking assignment. It looked like Omar Edwards, 54, again blocking down inside. He's got to come out on Leonard Little.
It's third and a $20 cab ride. Nice run up to about the 38-yard line, but that's well short of a first down.
But not a bad call, Mike, because your quarterback shook up. He's been hit from all sides. You got third, and as you said, a long cab ride, and just get the ball in John Avery's hand, and then let's regroup on the sideline and get that blocking scheme down.
Patridge didn't want to see a pass play signaled in from the sideline. Green to kick it away.
Starting to see the effect of 57 scholarships against a pretty good football team.
They are so thin. They have moved so many players trying to get their best 22 on the field. Copeland signals fair catch to 30. A 32-yard punt, no return. The All-American candidate, second team All-SEC a year ago. 11:24 to go, third quarter. Tennessee now rolling 31-3 over Ole Miss. Very close during most of the first half. Jay Graham in the eye. Play action, Manning. All day to throw. Perfect strike to the sideline. Andy McCullough with a catch. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Aside from the penalties, Philip Fulmer was very pleased with the first half play of his Tennessee Volunteers in the locker room at halftime. If you wonder why they're throwing the football, Fulmer said, hey, we are very pleased with the offense. We need to establish the run, get Graham and company back in the ball game. And guys, don't look at the scoreboard. Irrespective of the score, we're going to call the game like it's 0-0 to get our offense on track.
And, Jerry, that's a pretty good idea. They're trying to recover completely from the loss to Florida. Here's Graham. Nice move. Breaks free. saves the touchdown, but a 34-yard scamper by Graham. He now has 115 for the night.
Well, it's his first 100-yard game this year. Jay Graham took the challenge of the coaches this week and now is running the football up inside. Makes a nice little cutback, and now another cutback in the secondary. Derek Jones just had the angle on him.
Freshman Ronnie Hurd was the man who missed him near the line of scrimmage. And Ole Miss will have to use the timeout on defense here with 10:56 to go third quarter. Mike, you mentioned the 57 scholarship players. The limit is 85. This is the result of the probation that they were on. The penalties, all the sanctions will be gone after this year. They'll be able to go back to full strength. And Tommy Tuberville working on one of the most unique contracts I've ever heard of. The state of Mississippi can only give him a 4-year deal. He's got that. They're working on an extension that would take him through 2006, and that would be funded by the Booster Club.
Well, that's what you need, and he needs to establish that he's going to stay in the program. They're trying to build onto the stadium at Ole Miss. He's done a wonderful job here. You got to be a little careful. Those 10-year contracts, sometimes they can turn into 10 minutes. So.
We showed you the 3 offensive stars for the Volunteers through 3 games. These were their numbers as Graham was way down at 40 yards a game. But tonight they have all come through, Manning nearly 200 yards, Kent approaching the century mark, and Graham with his first 100-yard game this year. That's the 12th of his career. Back to the ground game for maybe 3.
And what that does tonight, Mike, for the Tennessee offense, it gets a little confidence for that offensive line. They've been maligned here for the first 3 ball games. Now, all of a sudden, they've been able to control the line of scrimmage tonight, and that probably will build their confidence as they go on into a tougher schedule. They got Georgia next week. Not if Georgia's got some defensive linemen, they're going to really make life tough for that offensive line of Tennessee's.
2nd and 7. The toss to Graham. Cuts it outside. Nice ankle tackle by David Evans, who chased the play down from his left tackle spot.
We got to like this Ole Miss effort. David Evans, he doesn't make this tackle. Jay Graham might get outside and go the distance. He was a starting offensive guard when Tommy Tuberville arrived. He moved him to defensive line. They moved 23 players in the spring. They started spring practice. They moved 23 players position-wise.
They'll go with 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 7. Movement on the Tennessee offensive line. They'll stop the play. The right tackle bagged out along with the right guard. And remember, they lost
For the ball snap,
the starting
the offensive line, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
And that was Robert Poole's 65 who moved early. Rito was lost with a broken leg, and Chad Clifton, another freshman, has to move into his spot.
And Chad Clifton's from Martin, Tennessee, which is not real far from here tonight, so he's got a lot of family people here tonight watching his first performance as an offensive line starter for Tennessee.
3rd and 12 after the penalty. Manning changing the play. Ole Miss backs out of the blitz. Manning throws short. That's McCullough. And McCullough wrapped up. So they actually were able to fool Peyton Manning again as he went to the quick throw, and they backed out of the blitz and played zone behind it.
Well, last year when Ole Miss played Florida, they did a pretty good job on Florida's pass attack. They were playing a lot of different coverages with rush 3, drop 8. When you looked at the tape, they did a pretty good job against Florida's.
Jeff Hall will come on to try a field goal on 4th and 8. It will be a 35-yard try. He's already hit one from 24. Hooks this one wide. Let's check in with Dr. Punch. Jerry?
You just saw Jeff Hall miss that field goal wide left, and he's had a problem. He actually herniated a disc in his lower back in the early part of the spring, has been getting treatment 3 days a week from the doctors, and on game day taking medication. He actually wears a brace or a sleeve under his uniform, which which does limit some of his mobility. I watched him kick early in the week up in Knoxville, and he booted him through from 55 yards, but he was still having quite a bit of pain trying to kick the football. And pain, guys, can be a distraction for a kicker.
And one thing he said, he knows if it hurts, he's kicked it right. So he doesn't mind the pain. Ole Miss takes over at the 20. Patrick still in there at quarterback, gives it to Avery. Avery doesn't have a chance. Didn't get any blocking, slipped 3 tackles, and picked up 2 yards. So Patridge has remained in at quarterback after Head threw the interception.
2 yards, now second down and 8.
Patridge, a junior from Morgan City, Mississippi. That's Head. He's out of Birmingham, Alabama.
I was impressed with Paul Head yesterday, talking to him, and his performance tonight. He didn't make a lot of mistakes. He threw that interception, which probably got him yanked.
2nd and 8. Patridge, quick set, tries to throw to Mangum and missed him.
Stuart Patridge's
The divisional playoffs continue tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern. Game 3 of the American League Series between the Orioles and the Indians. The O's leading the defending American League champions 2-0, and they'll have Mike Mussina on the hill tomorrow to face Jack McDowell in a must game for the Indians, down 2-0. Don't forget, it all starts at 3:30, the playoff edition of baseball tonight. Peterson and Hurd are the wide receivers on 3rd and 8. Patridge under pressure, rolls out of it. Drilled out of bounds by Craig King, the same man who intercepted Paul Head to set up the last touchdown.
Once that quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage, your linebackers want to come up and make that tackle. Leonard Little's going to start this play because he collapses the pocket. Number 1 coming from the outside, and that's a little small back, 180 pounds, trying to block him. Now, Stuart Patridge, as soon as he crosses that line of scrimmage, Craig King will make the play on Patridge.
Boy, and that's a way for a quarterback to get a separated shoulder, too. He got crushed.
Mike, they can't get anything going on offense. It's just been a second half, the adjustments that Tennessee's made on defense.
Green, beautiful punt this time. Copeland, back at the 24. Got a wall set up on the sideline, taken out of bounds, and a wicked block by Little. Little threw a hellacious block on the punt return. Back in a moment.
They try to make a tackle. They wonder where he went. Archie Supermanning should run for president. He wears that number 18 for the big bad red and blue. Rootin' tootin' quarterback, my friends, that's Archie.
I don't even know if Vince Gill could make that one sound good. There is Archie Manning, who played from 68 to 70, a legend in the state of Mississippi, the goodwill ambassador for the university and the program. You couldn't say enough good things about what Archie Manning did for the University of Mississippi. And what he had to go through with having a son like Peyton Manning, who was allowed to make his own decision, wasn't forced into anything. He told him to do the best thing he could for Peyton Manning, and I think Peyton Manning did.
Well, Archie is a gentleman. He always has been, and he's conducted himself as a player, and now as a father, a proud father, and he's got another son that's coming along. He's a pretty good player, too.
And boy, could he run. One of the best games I ever saw was the 70 Gator Bowl. Auburn against Mississippi. Pass complete to Nash. He's down to the 46-yard line. And here are the numbers, old and new. 5,300 passing yards for Archie. Those are not bad numbers either. But look at the rush yards, 956 to -40. Archie could run.
Well, it changed game a little bit, too. You're throwing a little bit more drop-back passing now. Archie played for an Ole Miss team, was very well coached. Johnny Vaught, of course, the legend in coaching.
Manning on the half roll. Copeland. Back up quarterback, wide receiver, just their version of Slash, and he's brought down by Malika Griffin.
And this is a problem for Tennessee. They've got to get Jermaine Copeland on the field. They do not know what Peyton Manning's going to do next year. Jermaine Copeland is the quarterback next year, and then they've also got a highly regarded freshman, T. Martin. They're trying to get a little work. Jermaine Copeland works as a quarterback on Monday and Tuesday in practice, as a wide receiver on Wednesday and Thursday.
If they can get T. Martin to the point where they have confidence in a backup, Copeland can go wide receiver full time, which is what he wants. Levine stuffed
This
after
run for
a game.
Tennessee, number 19, Mark Levine. This tackle.
6 minutes, 10 seconds to go, third quarter. Tennessee now in complete control of this game, 31-3.
And when you look at Peyton Manning, just watching his feet, everything is perfect. He just does everything you'd like to have a quarterback do.
And Mike, as good as he is, you have to think the loss to Florida killed his Heisman Trophy chances.
And they'll set it back. You know, there's a lot of things got to happen now to get it back for him, but it's still a young football season.
2nd and 9. Manning with a lot of patience. Throws complete. Joey Kent finally caught from behind at the 7-yard line, chased down by Strickland. 4 games in a row this year for the brilliant Joey Kent, over 100 yards receiving.
And Mike, again, you just praise Peyton Manning because as he rolls to the left side, he waits until Joey Kent comes open. He doesn't force the football, and Joey Kent wisely pulls up in zone coverage. Now watch Peyton Manning. He comes out, he doesn't rush the throw. He waits, he waits, he waits. Now he throws to Joey Kent when he sat down in the hole on zone coverage.
Kent, number 1 all time, catches, yards, touchdown catches. Tonight, 7 for 126. Levine cuts it back inside. Touchdown. Mark Levine, the sophomore. Trey Teague threw him a great block.
Mercedes Hamilton, number 75, a player that Philip Fulmer wants to get into the action a little bit more. The right guard with a nice block also. Mercedes Hamilton, number 75, he's the right tackle. He blocks down. Now here's the tackle by Trey Teague. They're blocked by Trey Teague that you talked about. And Levine getting in the end zone. They just wore Ole Miss down.
Oh, yeah. Hall for the point after. There's a marker down.
Before the ball snapped, there was still replay the down.
Go against Tennessee, they'll have to redo the point after.
It's Al Ford, one of the head referee, one of the most respected referees in the SEC.
So Hall will try it again, 5 yards further back. And another whistle. The kick is good. 38-3. They used to have those Archie Who buttons. Well, he sure answered those, and they've come up with the same thing in Mississippi this week for Peyton Who, but he certainly answered those as well.
Oh, he really has, Mike. He's played extremely well tonight. You can't look at many of his games and see, like even in the Florida game, some of those interceptions were deflected footballs. Right. They were right to the receiver, and couldn't even fold his Florida game that much.
And when I said I think his chances would be killed, I think it's because his team lost, not necessarily the way he played.
No, there's no doubt when you lose a game that early in the season and there's other undefeated teams. Danny Werfel's up there now. He won that ball game, and rightfully so. He should be in the Heisman hunt.
Pretty good numbers, huh? Bilbrew and Avery are deep to receive. The last 6 times Tennessee has had the ball, they've gotten 4 touchdowns, a field goal, and missed a field goal. Bilbrew mixed up on who would get it. He's got it 2 yards deep and takes the knee. There is one more Manning in the mix. Eli, a sophomore in high school in New Orleans. He too a quarterback. His team 4-0. He wears that familiar number 18. And Mississippi and Tennessee will be going head-to-head to see who gets him.
Plus about another 75 schools, because they're all
That's
being
right.
Newman High School looking for the Eli man.
Paul Head back in the ball game for Ole Miss after sitting on 3 or 4 series. He goes back to throw, completes it out in the flat. And that was very close to being out of bounds. Goodrich and Wilson were over to make the tackle.
That's Dwayne Goodrich, a highly recruited high school player last year that decided to go out of Illinois, decided to go to Tennessee.
Of course, Tuberville has already told us yesterday that he will be going after Eli and maybe enlisting the help of Olivia Manning, who was what a perfect union that was. The all-American quarterback and the homecoming queen at Mississippi.
And I'd say they'd have a little edge on Eli right now because they're throwing the football.
Yeah. The one thing Peyton Manning said that I was fascinated by, he said he didn't want to go someplace, which would have been Ole Miss, that he would have been a star immediately without doing anything to earn it. That's a pretty level head on a kid.
Well, and he chose Tennessee, and even Brandon Stewart, another highly recruited player out of Texas, a quarterback. So it was a big challenge for Peyton, and that's why he won the job, because of what he did off the field in meetings, studying film, then taking it to practice, and then taking it to the game.
One of the lines people on the sideline hitting that last exchange got hit in the knee and went down hard. He appears to be all right. And on 2nd and 3, Ole Miss goes back to work on offense. Artie Moore on the toss. Steps out of bounds to the 25. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Mike, you talked about the hottest selling button in Mississippi this week. Well, it was the Peyton Who button. But, of course, they were really big sellers before the game. But now the secret's out. 38 points later, this may be a keepsake.
Jerry, you're absolutely right. And I'm sure with Peyton Manning and his down-to-earth approach, I'm sure he's got a couple of those.
Well, it's in orange, so it's probably a Tennessee fan trying just to make some money over here.
Tony Canyon, number 33, checks in at running back. And he'll get the carry, runs into his own man, then fights off blockers and gets out to the 29-yard line.
Number 33.
And Tommy Tuberville on the sideline is just thinking the day will come when I get my 85 scholarships, I get some more depth, and I can challenge these ball clubs for 4 quarters and not just maybe 2 quarters.
On 4th and a yard, they will kick it away. Ole Miss had a lot of tricks in its bag coming into tonight's game, but after falling behind, they're not going to be able to use most of them. Peerless Price goes back to receive this punch from Green. Booms this one. Price all the way back to the 21. Fumble. He steps out of bounds to the 21. 50-yard punt, no returns. Throughout the college football season, American Honda will recognize outstanding students for their athletic and scholastic achievements. The winner of this week's Honda Scholar Athlete Award, who else? Quarterback Peyton Manning of Tennessee. He's a junior, majoring in speech communication with a minor in business. 3.51 GPA. Last year, he was named to the SEC Academic Honor Roll. And Honda is proud to donate $3,000 to the University of Tennessee General Scholarship Fund on behalf of Peyton Manning. And we'd like to extend our congratulations to Peyton and his family. Mark Levine in at running back, and he'll get the carry. Levine, another gaping hole up the middle, brought down by Ronnie Hurd, the freshman defensive back from Clute, Texas. Well, Mike, you said when we were talking about this game on the ride over here that you thought Tennessee's offensive line would eventually just dominate.
Yeah, they have too much size on Ole Miss. Ole Miss is undersized in the defensive line. Tommy Tuberville's plugged the dike a little bit by moving some offensive people over there, but this Tennessee offensive line will eventually come along and be a good offensive line.
Now, this was a team that was averaging 79 yards a game on the ground. That's Nate Wayne, the injured player. We'll check on his condition in a moment. (38-3) Tennessee. Nate Wayne able to get off under his own steam to the Mississippi sideline. 2nd and a yard for the Volunteers. And the fullback Chester Ford will get a carry, and that should be enough for the first down.
Mike, you know, there was some talk about Peyton Manning as a quarterback. You can see in the left box here, watch his feet as he goes back to throw. And you see the left box. Now watch him shuffle his feet as a quarterback. You always want your quarterbacks to move their feet, because now you go to the right box. You want them to move their feet so that if pass protection breaks down or you find a throwing lane, you want to be able to slide to the right or to the left. Now, that's not happy feet. Happy feet is when the quarterback takes off before the play even develops. But quarterbacks are taught, Mike, that you want them to go back and set up and chop those feet and then move to the right, move to the left, find your throwing lane, and always keep your feet moving. So, like I say, I can't find one thing to criticize in Peyton Manning, because, I mean, he does everything so well.
I was just going to say, if you're going to try to pick on something Peyton Manning does from a technique standpoint or his preparation or virtually anything else, you're really being picky.
Yeah, well, he's the next Marino, Elway, the great quarterbacks in the NFL. He's the next one. You can mark it down. There's a lot of pro teams just waiting to mark it down.
Absolutely drooling.
But I hope he stays one more year. I really do. He's going to graduate in 3 years, but I still feel like he's enjoyed his college experience, and you hope he stays one more year.
And how about that, graduating in 3 years? Levine gets a couple.
That's the other thing about him. See, he attacks football, but he also attacks academics, because when he would stay there in the summertime, he would stay and take classes, not just stay and practice football.
Mel Kiper's list of who he thinks are the top 5. Orlando Pace, that awesome offensive tackle for Ohio State. There's Manning. Richard Wilson from Florida State. Walter Jones from Florida State. Warwick Dunn from Florida State. Right now, the Saints, wouldn't that be ironic, 0-5. The Jets 0-5. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 0-5. Those are probably 3 teams that if Peyton Manning thinks about it, he's not going to want to go to. His other choice, if he doesn't come back, is to go in the supplemental draft, which means those lowest teams are not a lock to have a shot at him.
I'm hoping he selects the draft to stay at Tennessee.
Yeah. And Archie can tell him about going to a New Orleans team that's winless. Archie's been there and done that. Tennessee will have to kick it away on 4th and 2. Boris Fisher is deep to receive at his 20, waiting on the punt from Binion.
A lot of head coaches in the SEC hope he moves on, too.
Yeah, they'll be rooting for him. Fisher at the 23.
Boris Fisher.
Since 1989, this is Mel Kiper's list of the entire group. Bledsoe rated a 1/10 of a point above Aikman and Manning. So Peyton Manning in tremendous company above McNair and Schuler. McNair has yet to play very much for the Oilers. Schuler is not playing at all right now for the Redskins.
And Mike, the quarterbacks have come out early. They've stumbled around. Tim Rosenball, Heath Schuler, Drew Bledsoe, Trent Dilfer. And when you look at Troy Aikman, who stayed in 5 years, or Kerry Collins, or Gus Frerotte that stayed in their entire time, they look to be a little bit better off.
Adams takes the pass from head, snaps a tackle, gets out to the 33-yard line. And, Mike, it's not just how much physically you might get better in that extra year. It's the mental part of it, because that's the biggest adjustment in the pros.
No, it really is. And Peyton's on the phone right now to his offensive coordinator, David Cutcliffe, and he's still playing this game. Now, a lot of quarterbacks, if you're ahead 38-3, he'd be sitting over there enjoying himself.
How about this? The last first down for the Ole Miss offense. 5 minutes left in the first half. They have just been throttled here in the second half in the Liberty Bowl. Avery on the toss, trying to get that first down. No. Phalanx of white and orange jerseys chase him out of bounds.
John Avery didn't want to take that 180 pounds and take it on. There's 3 defensive players. Al Wilson leading the charge, so they were going to lose yardage.
And there was a flag thrown after the play was over. Well over.
The play was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct against the defense. 15 yards, first down.
And I did not see what caused that call.
And that's their first down.
That's right. Since the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. And unsportsmanlike conduct can cover a myriad of sins. So Head has it up at the 43. Throws underneath up to midfield. Hurd makes the, or excuse me, Bilbrew makes the catch.
Mike, you pull for the quarterback like Paul Head. You know, you were talking to him. He had an accident with his thumb, and you asked him the other day how his thumb was. He said, hey, I just throw the ball as bad as I've always thrown. He just has a great attitude about college football, and he really works at it also. But he's having fun.
Well, he was hurt in a sledding accident, of all things, in Mississippi. He says every time we have an ice storm every 2 years, we just go crazy on sleds. Rufus French, number 9, is in it at tight end. He was the number 1 tight end prospect in the country last year. And Tony Canyon will get a carry. A couple of yards shy of a first down.
Gave him 2 yards, and he got him down.
And that's going to be the end of the third quarter here in the Liberty Bowl. Tennessee with a 35-point lead. Archie Manning watching his old school and his young son. Ole Miss will go with its short yardage package on 3rd and 1, trailing 38-3 as we start the fourth quarter. Head fumbles the snap. Scramble for it. Still loose, and Tennessee has it at the 44. Recovered by Dwayne Goodrich, the freshman from Oak Lawn, Illinois, and that thing just kept squirting and squirting until Goodrich got it.
Tom Lemming, who picks a lot of recruiting services across the country, tagged Dwayne Goodrich as one of his top players coming out in the recruiting class last year. Tennessee coaches talked about they got to take the training wheels off the young corner and let him play, and he recovered this fumble. Paul Head just maybe pulled out a little bit too soon. Dwayne Goodrich, ball's going to pop out late. Dwayne Goodrich recovers.
Tennessee backing on offense from its own 45-yard line. And they'll cross midfield. The run by Brian Darden. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Hey, Mike, everyone talks about Peyton Manning playing for his dad's old school, but it's also his mom's old school. In 1970, the former Olivia Williams was the homecoming queen for Ole Miss. And to show you how much she still loves Ole Miss, when Peyton signed with Tennessee, she was quoted as saying, boy, I'm proud for Peyton, but I'm just sick for Ole Miss.
Those roots run deep, Jerry, and they will have to root for 2 schools from now on as Darden goes down to the 45-yard line.
Mike, 2 years ago, the top backs coming out in recruiting were Kevin Falk, who ended up at LSU, Amon Green, who ended up in Nebraska, and Brian Darden. He failed to get into UT after signing. He sat out the year, got his test score, and now he's rounding into shape. Now, the bad news for all the SEC teams is when Jay Graham leaves, it's Brian Darden's going to take over.
And the ovation for Peyton Manning as they bring him out of the ball game. 18 out of 22, 240 yards and a touchdown, and Copeland has checked in to run the offense. Darden gets a carry and is stuck by Nate Wayne, who earlier had left the field injured and is back and still hitting as hard as ever.
Brian Darden played in the Alabama-Mississippi High School All-Star game and just dominated the game.
The third tailback used by Tennessee tonight. Second and 9. Copeland on a roll. And throws complete. Got that one downfield to Graf Corby.
Philip Fulmer said about Jermaine Copeland that he's got an enthusiasm this team needs on the field. They feel like next year he's going to be the quarterback, that they're going to change their offense a little bit more sprint out, a little bit more option.
Their version of Slash, he can do it all. Really wants to be a full-time wide receiver, though, badly.
Well, if T. Martin keeps coming along, like you mentioned earlier, then T. Martin is real close to being the kind of quarterback that they feel like can start for him also.
Another new running back, Derek Edmonds, number 33, is in for the first time, and Edmonds will get a carry. He's stuffed as he gets to the Ole Miss 32-yard line. Timothy Strickland up from the safety spot.
Well, Philip Fulmer was able to get out of his team what he needed tonight. Coming off that loss, which you talked about in the open, the fact that they pinned all their hopes on winning the national championship and the SEC, and they may be dashed a little bit now because somebody's got to get Florida to help them, and they got to get them twice.
Eric Diago, a young tight end, checks into the ballgame. Here is Copeland. And that one just slipped out of his hand. He looked like he wanted to throw it downfield, then wanted to throw a screen, couldn't make up his mind. Derek Jones wearing that number 38, a preseason All-ACC choice. He's a vocal leader, has a tremendous work ethic, and he's wearing that Chucky Mullins number. Mullins, the linebacker, who was paralyzed in 1989 and died in 1991. And a great honor for any Mississippi football player to have a chance to wear that coveted number 38.
Derek Jones is a fine corner. Gives away a little height, but I'll tell you, he could cover you. He's got great feet. And he just meets the challenge every play.
Copeland chased out of the pocket, throws on the run, and complete at the 25-yard line. Pratt makes the catch. They'll mark it just inside the 25. That'll be short of a first down. We want to welcome all of you who watched the Braves beat the Dodgers 3-2 tonight. Atlanta pitching staff is absolutely awesome, and the Dodgers haven't been able to hit a lick down the stretch. And our score, 38-3. It was a close ball game in the first half. Mississippi playing with a lot of emotion, but Tennessee starting to ring it up here. 4th and short, they'll go for it. And the fullback, Chester Ford, who earlier had a 32-yard touchdown run, busts it right up the gut to the 15.
Chester Ford's had a big night. He's blocked for Jay Graham to get over his first 100-yard rushing night for Graham, and then Chester Ford's had about 3 or 4 carries here and ran the ball well.
The people at Tennessee talk about how difficult it is to recruit fullbacks anymore. Somebody who is going to be primarily a blocking back.
Well, Woody Hayes used to take his fullbacks when he recruited them and move them to guard because he felt like they were going to be good blockers in the offensive line.
1st and 10. Virtually all second and third teamers in there right now. Edmonds trying to get outside, and he can't make it past the line of scrimmage. Brock Kreitz from Naperville, Illinois, makes the tackle.
Mike, a tough night for Walker Jones, the linebacker, who's a personal friend of Peyton Manning's. They had gone to the Bill Walsh camp and became very close, and their dads were close. They played together at Ole Miss, and just a tough night for him because he was expecting more out of this.
2 nights ago, they talked on the phone for about an hour. Didn't trade any secrets, but they do this one at least once a week. Darden back in at running back. Copeland on the roll. Directing traffic. Now he's in trouble and goes down at the 23. Big rush by Walker Jones, and he wanted to do that to his good friend Peyton Manning.
Well, he said,
make it sweet if I got him.
He said, I'd deliver him a little bit more of a hit, but we talked about that story, and you were going to talk about Peyton Manning, what he talked about with Walker Jones. But Walker Jones said, I tried to get him to give me the first play, and he wouldn't do it. But Walker Jones making the play on Jermaine Copeland.
Nearly took Copeland's head off. He said he asked Peyton Manning, what do you know about our defense? He said he reeled off everything and more than Jones knew.
He said, Walker Jones said, I reached for my scouting report. He said, I was embarrassed. He said, Peyton knew everything, our size, our height, where our team was from.
3rd and 17, they come with a blitz, and the pass could have been a touchdown knocked away from McCullough in the end zone. Good defensive play by Derek Jones, who's slow to get up. The pressure, Eli Landing was really putting on the heat on Copeland.
Well, Eli Landing did make this throw, and you're going to see Derek Jones. We talked about his corner ability. See him getting his back pedal. He's going to break on the ball on Andy McCullough, close the gap, and then go up for the interception.
4th and 17. And Hall, who was hit from 24 and missed from 35, will try one this time from 39. He's wide right on this one. 9:25 to go in the game. Tennessee in control, 38-3. 9:25 to go in the ball game. Ole Miss takes over at its own 22-yard line. Head back to throw under pressure. Airs this one out for Bill Brew, and it's incomplete at midfield. Coverage by Mickey Allen, the freshman from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
He's another of the talented defensive backs that Philip Fulmer believes John Chavis has as a defensive coordinator. Kevin Ramsey, the defensive back coach, said that both these Dwayne Goodrich and Mickey Allen have to play for us. And tonight was kind of their coming out party.
Lawrence Adams checks in for Ole Miss. He's number 17, had 6 catches a week ago. Play action by Head, and that's Adams. He's taken down at the 23. ESPN2 has the best in college football at noon. Number 6 Michigan takes on Darnell Autry in the 22nd ranked team in the nation, Northwestern. Then at 7, it's an SEC battle as the Georgia Bulldogs make the trek to Mississippi State.
Mike, if Georgia beats Mississippi State, now it sets up the next week's ball game, Tennessee at Georgia. Tennessee's only playing 2 games outside the state this year, at South Carolina and at Georgia. And that Georgia game could be an interesting football game.
3rd and 8, and Tennessee just heartsick about the Florida loss because their schedule was perfect for what they wanted to do this year. And there's a drop by Taboris Fisher. They'd had a tough time getting him the ball all night long, and he couldn't hold that one. Jeff Coleman was putting a lot of heat on Paul Head.
That's just frustration. You get to the point where you're trying to make plays. The offense is kind of stumbled around here in the second half. Taboris Fisher trying to make a play, just couldn't hold on.
So Randall Green, who's got to be leg weary by now, checks in, standing in his own 10. Peerless Price waits back at the 35 for Tennessee. Low end-over-end kick, and Price wrapped up right after he made the catch at his own 46. 34-yard kick, but only a 4-yard return. With 8:19 to go from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Derek Edmonds, the tailback. Instead, they give it to the fullback, and the officials will stop the play as Chester Ford got a couple.
Before the ball was snapped, movement by the offensive line.
And that will cost Tennessee 5 more. Derek Jones on punt coverage on that last play had to be helped off the field. It appeared he hurt his left leg or his left hip on punt coverage as he got in there.
Here's a hit. Number 38, Derek Jones, making a tackle, and then one of his own players comes in and drives the helmet into his leg.
And that's one thing Tommy Tuberville said. He said with only 57 scholarship players, they had to be injury-free, and they had for a long time. But this game, they've had some guys hurt. Let's go to Jerry Hunt.
They'll afford to lose Derek Jones. Apparently, you saw a moment ago, he took a helmet to the left thigh. That's exactly what his injury is, a contusion or a deep bruise to the left quadriceps muscle. That's basically the thigh, the front of the left upper leg. He may not play anymore tonight, but he should be able to be back in a week or so.
And, Jerry, those things can last for a long time, can't they?
They sure can, Mike. You get a lot of bleeding into the muscle, and that's a large muscle group above the knee, between the hip and the knee, and it is very, very painful.
2nd and 18 as Copeland is on to run the team instead of Manning. And Copeland throws to McCullough out at the 47-yard line. We talked about Tennessee's schedule early. They had it really set up, only playing 2 teams that were ranked, Florida and Alabama. They only had to leave the state of Tennessee twice, but the Gators got them again.
And look at that bottom thing, 40-41 in November.
We heard maybe the dumbest statement I have ever heard down here when someone said that Philip Fulmer, he's just a 10-2 coach. What do we got against 10-2? I know you want to win a national championship, but 10-2 is a great record, especially when you're playing the SEC. There's McCullough with a big catch.
Well, there's some amazing statements made every day.
Yes, sir. That's one of them.
Andy McCullough. Look at him. The receiver just breaking away from Nakia McGee, number 26, then stretches out, brings the ball in on his fingertips for the catch.
Good throw
so
by
many
Copeland.
receivers.
Oh, they're loaded.
They just keep bringing in the same. They look like they're out of cookie cutters. They're all the same way. Can run. They got good hands.
Dart Darden now in the tailback as Copeland runs the option, slammed down at the 38-yard line. Let's go back to Jerry Punch. Doctor.
I got a question for Coach Godfrey. Coach, if you look at Tennessee's schedule early, they had a week off before they played Florida, a week off before this game against Ole Miss. They have 9 days now until they play Georgia, and then a week off before they play Alabama. They play 3 football games in 48 days. Can too much time off hurt a young football team?
I don't think so, Jerry. And my hat goes off to the AD, Doug Dickey, who's a former football coach, because he set that up perfect for planning and then getting off a tough game and then getting some time on for the next tough game. Jerry, I think it's good planning by Doug Dickey.
There goes Darden inside the 20. And, Mike, that's what I was referring to earlier. The schedule was set up perfectly for them to make that national championship run.
You know, and that's the thing you worry about. And Philip Fulmer and his staff have done a nice job, because all of a sudden now you have that loss. But the next 2 football games right there, Georgia and Alabama, are going to be tough football games. Georgia is a good football team. They've got a good coach in Jim Donnan, good staff, and it's just going to take some time, but they're capable. And Alabama plays great defense, and they've had success against Tennessee recently. Not last year, but they've had success. Hugh Stallings and his staff do a great job.
There's Darden inside the 10. It looks like he has another first down, and there's a new quarterback in there for Tennessee. T. Martin, the freshman, the number 5 quarterback prospect in most of the rating services last year.
Well, he's out of Mobile, Alabama, and everybody thought Nebraska, Notre Dame had T. Martin, and then all of a sudden he pops up and goes to Tennessee.
First and goal.
He was an outstanding high school quarterback in Mobile.
First and goal, Tennessee already leading 38-3.
Tough thing about when you recruit good quarterbacks like Peyton Manning, it takes you a little while to get the next one, because they know they're not going to play when they get to Tennessee.
Absolutely. Darden hitting the backfield and brought down, loss of a yard.
And now you've got a good young quarterback in T. Martin. You go back to Brandon Stewart. He knew that he wasn't going to beat Peyton Manning out after the season started. There's David Cutcliffe on the end. He calls the plays as Tennessee's quarterback coach. They've got an excellent offensive staff. Mark Bradley, offensive line coach. Randy Sanders, Pat Washington. Just a good, outstanding offensive coaching staff. There's Sanders right there relaying the play in. And then there's number 16. He's an extra coach.
That's right.
They have 10 coaches. The 9 by the run of the NCAA and number 16.
Tennessee now has 500 yards in total offense in this game. Williams throws deep, and the receiver cut it off short. That's Benji Schuler. There is a flag down on the play in the end zone. This may be interference.
Peyton Manning wants to see T. Martin get some success here and have a touchdown pass, because he knows 3 years ago he was a freshman. All of a sudden seeing action, so he would like to see something good happen for T. Martin. Been a high standard set for quarterbacks at Tennessee. Study.
Offensive pass interference, 15 yards, repeating second down.
Benji Schuler called for pushing off, offensive interference.
It's going to be against Malika Griffin.
Well, Malika got the hand out there first, didn't he? Looks a lot like Heath, doesn't he? Heath came out early, drafted number 1 by the Redskins. Right now, he's the second-team quarterback.
And Philip Fulmer said, I went through this thing with Heath Schuler. We talked about it in January. He made his decision. We'll do the same thing with Peyton and Archie.
Darden will get to the 20 on third and long, or second and long. Clock ticking away, working its way toward 4 minutes. Maybe the only thing Philip Fulmer could be upset about when this game is over, his team was penalized 12 times for 89 yards. The mistakes they made in the first quarter did not make them look very good.
No, they had some penalties early in the game, and it kept it close for a while because they were making mistakes, and Jay Graham fumbled the ball, but then they got a hold of the game and just completely took over.
Derek Edmonds back in at tailback. 3rd and 20. Horse-powered at the 22 is T. Martin. Johnny Jones took him down. There's a marker down at the end of the play, and Jones wants to know why. Looked like he grabbed the back of the jersey and dragged him down. There's nothing wrong with that, and now the officials may be talking it over. You can see Jones, he's saying, I got the jersey, and that's it. One of the officials gesturing toward his face as it was a face mask. And they're going to pick the flag up. Watch Johnny Jones. Well, the hand goes to the face mask, but the impetus of the tackle was the back of the jersey. Fourth and 20. It's a rather academic point at this, juncture.
Stage. Mike Johnny Bott, the legendary coach at Ole Miss, is watching this game tonight. He's in his 80s, and Joe Panunzio, one of the assistant coaches, got him back involved with the program, and
that's a wonderful thing to do, too.
It's great.
3:33 to go. Back to the Liberty Bowl in a moment. There's a happy fan dressed in that bright orange, and his team is up 38-3 with only 3 minutes and 33 seconds left to go. Philip Fulmer watching his club go to 3-1 on the season.
A happy coach, too, because when you have that loss and you got the open date, you got to sit with it a long time.
Jeff Hall, who has made 1 of 3, will try to get some confidence back on this one and knocks it through. That'll make it 41-3, Tennessee over Ole Miss. And Hall will feel a little bit better about himself going into the next game. And now for our thrifty car rental storyline from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Peyton Manning only missed 4 all night. Kent caught 7 of them for another 100-yard game, his 4th in a row. Tennessee now with 503 yards in total offense. And they really broke it open with those 2 touchdowns in the first minute 37 of the second half.
And the key, Mike, is Jay Graham, getting the running game going, to get him balanced, to take a little pressure off the passing game. And Jay Graham responded with his first 100-yard game this season. And that guy, number 1, he didn't play too bad tonight either.
Had that big sack that forced a fumble and resulted in a touchdown. And he's got extreme quickness coming off the corner. And I like what they did with him, moving him around, trying to hide him from the offense.
Good job by John Chavis, defensive coordinator, and Leonard Little. If they're voting on the All-American team tonight, a lot of those writers and coaches would be putting his name in tonight. He's just been a force on defense for Tennessee all season.
Tonight, Ole Miss on offense, 9 times they have gone 3 and out, as they have been totally stifled by the Tennessee defense. Avery from the 6. And goes out at the 25. Let's check in with the doctor. Jerry?
Tell you what kind of guy Tommy Tuberville is. You know, in the morning of a big game, a head coach has got so many things to worry about. But even before his team had a wake-up call this morning, Tommy was here at Health South Rehab Center in Memphis visiting a young man by the name of Tim Armstrong from Senatobia, Mississippi. Armstrong, who didn't even play for Tuberville, was injured during preseason practice, in fact paralyzed, and is recovering in the rehab center. But Tuberville wanted to come up and meet the young man and say hello and tell him how much he appreciates the young man's courage of fighting back.
You know, Jerry, I'm glad you brought that up, because rightfully so, we hear so much about the bad things in college football, kids getting in trouble, but there are so many good things about it, and people don't go out and look for the good things. They just want to report the bad, and you like to hear those stories. King makes the tackle on Tony Canyon.
There'll be some better days ahead for Ole Miss under Tom Tuberville. He had a rough night. See who else has had a rough night tonight? Ron Franklin, wherever he's watching this game, he's an Ole Miss fan. He's neutral. He stays neutral on Saturday nights when that score comes across. Ron is always anxious to see what's happening with Ole Miss.
Second and a long yard, and Canyon will have the first down as he gets out to the 39.
In with the ball for Ole Miss, number 33.
Best pregame show in the NFL comes your way every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern with NFL Countdown. This week, the history of the sack for pioneers like Deacon Jones when they didn't keep track, to modern-day artists like Reggie White. A look at a more mature Junior Seau, San Diego's perennial Pro Bowler, who was brilliant a week ago. Plus, we'll have live reports from all of Sunday's big games. NFL Countdown, this and every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Love those promos. Those
they are funny.
Are hilarious. Canyon trying to get outside. Now he has to cut it back and bury
Canyon, the ball
about a yard behind the line of scrimmage.
Boy, nice block by Todd Wade, a young backup tackle who's 6'7", 285 pounds, a freshman, number 71, just made a great block.
Miss came in here with such high hopes after playing very well against Auburn in the only game that they lost.
Here's Todd Wade, number 71. He's going to pull out and just level the Tennessee defensive end. That's a nice block. Try to get Tony Canyon up inside. That was on Jeff Coleman.
And Wade is a freshman, another one of those good recruits that they've gotten. Here's Canyon with a gaping hole straight up the middle. He ran through a Canyon. Tennessee 39, a gain of 23.
Fred White, the safety, was watching him come into the secondary. Todd Wade again. 71 just getting a good position block, and he has really had 2 excellent blocks in a row.
Well, these are pancakes.
You
what
know,
linemen live for.
You know, the offensive line coach working with him. He's good technique-wise, and maybe start to see a little bit more playing time.
He's 6'7", 285. Clock running. We're nearing a minute. Canyon again.
Canyon on the run.
The Tennessee 36. Coming up next, Sports Center. Keith and Dan standing by. They'll catch you up on everything, including everything from the baseball playoffs, news from the umpires stand, and the return of Michael Irvin to Valley Ranch and the Dallas Cowboys.
Mike, I want to say we only got 40 seconds to go. I've enjoyed it thoroughly again being with you and Jerry Punch. It's our last game. Freddie Godelli comes back to produce tonight, so it's like old times, and I'm going to miss you. I'll miss you, and see you and Jerry down the road somewhere.
Me too, partner. And, of course, our Thursday night package will continue. And we invite you to join us throughout the year as they throw an incomplete pass and stop it on 20 seconds.
Edge pass intended on the left side for number 7.
Receiver.
It is third down. Now third down and 7.
If you joined us late, Peyton Manning's night done quite a while ago. He had 18 of 22 for 242 yards. And Peyton Manning is what college football is supposed to be about. The American dream. A kid who works hard, has used all of his God-given talent, has endured controversy. But you can tell he has been brought up the right way by Archie and Olivia Manning. He is well grounded.
And they have reason to be proud.
Canyon carries, and that's going to be the last play of the ball game. So a triumphant first match against his dad's old school. Peyton Manning leads Tennessee to a big victory here in Memphis. Our final score, Tennessee 41, Mississippi 3. Coming up next, Sports Center, Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick. They'll catch you up on everything, including the baseball playoffs, news from the umpires front, and the return of Michael Irvin. For Mike Godfrey, Dr. Jerry Punch, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everyone, and good night from Memphis. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.